Woo! What's up? What's up? What's up? We are back for our first ever award show, which we've never done. And I can actually sit back and enjoy the ride on this one because this is going to be executive produced, written, and directed by Average Joe. So he'll be the one leading the charge here as we are going to unveil this year's Flowing Pints for 2017. All right, so that should be a pretty good time. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Get hyped up. So, I am Rod J. Thanks for joining, and Average Joe here at Buffalo. And we got Todd here in Indiana. We're down a guy because Eric from Eric's Beer Reviews is actually run into a little situation where he's trying to get his heater working correctly. And, of course, he's up in Michigan, and if you've seen anything on the weather, you know how cold it is in Michigan. So he's got to get that done first for sure. So we'll have some of his picks here, of course, too. But thanks for anybody tuning in right now. Go ahead and post any comments you'll have out there. We'll get those during the course of the show. And as we get through some of the categories, post your favorites. So I'm going to turn it over to Average Joe so he can give you a rundown and everything like that. And just to let you know what I'll be drinking tonight, at least the first bottle, the Brewery, 9 Ladies Dancing. So this one here, ale with cocoa nibs. You know I like the cocoa nibs. Vanilla coffee and lactose added. Should be a pretty nice, sweet, smooth ride. Oh, ABV on this one, that comes in at a low 11.3. So there you go.
Session beer.
Session it, baby. And you guys can introduce. Go ahead, Joe. Give them a rundown. Talk about what you're going to drink tonight. And before we get to the stuff that we're going to do the awards on.
We'll let Todd go first. Todd, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking one sent to me from yours truly, Average Joe. Appreciate it. Head in the Clouds, double IPA from Resurgence Brewing Company.
Nice.
Comes in at 8.4 ABV. We'll just start off with just a session when it's
Appropriate. My definition of session is actually session. So actually, it's really not. I'm drinking a 6.5%, 65 IBU IPA from a local brewery here called Woodcock Brothers Brewing Company. This is their XPA. It's a rotating hop series. This is their double dry hopped with Galaxy. I've already had it. It's pretty damn good. So I figured I'd get into another one because, yeah, tonight's going to be great.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what we come up with here as we look at some of the beers out there from 2017.
We're going to reminisce quite a bit.
Oh, I should have kicked into Pete Rock. See how smooth.
Yeah, you
could
could have.
Reminisce over you.
You're missing so many opportunities. So, so first and foremost, I want to shut out. I'm going to shut out everybody because I'm grooming and corrupting this place. That's why Eric's not here. He's been cut and shut. Shout out the UK guys. So this whole idea is kind of born from a lot of the UK beer tubers that Rod, Todd, Eric, and myself are familiar with and we consider friends. Peter the Clueless Drinker, Rob from hopzine.com, Craig from Kent Beer Reviews, Jake from Jake O Beers, who else? Brett from Beardy Beer Reviews, and Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews. I think they actually did it on Harry's channel. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure. And they had I think it was a 3.5-hour show called the Golden Pints, where they basically just did their best of the year in beer. And they had, I want to say, at least 30 different categories. So it was a long show. They had a big panel, a lot of different categories. We, on the other hand, have a smaller panel, and we have about half of the categories. And I thought it'd be a great idea to kind of reminisce about what we drank during the year because, you have a tendency to just keep drinking beer and beer. Rod being a beer tuber, Todd and I not being beer tubers. But I figured we drank a lot of. What's that?
Soon to be a YouTuber.
Soon to be me. I don't know about Todd. Todd's crazy. Probably not though. He's just gonna groom and corrupt like I was back in the day, which is like yesterday. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through all these categories and we're gonna have us three give our so-called winners. Again, this is all subjective. This is not like a panel I guess, collab effort of like the winner of best beer is not going to be one beer. It's going to be whatever our favorite beers of the year are. So this is more of like, instead of a best beer, whatever, more of our personal favorites. So everyone's probably going to have a different answer. We're down a man, as Rod said. So Eric is fighting with his furnace like he's the father from A Christmas Story. Happens. It's super cold out. I mean, unfortunately, hopefully he can get it going. But he actually, being the thoughtful guy Eric is, he was concerned that his answers were not going to be read. So he sent us a picture of, what the hell did he write it on? He has it on like a what do you call those?
Index cards I've seen.
Yeah, on an index card, handwritten, but it was sideways. So Rod had to actually rotate it so we can read it properly and not, get neck cramps. So we're going to read his too, because he's an integral part of this show every week. So I guess we'll just start, because what else do we got to do other than get hammered and talk about stupid awards? Here we go. So we're actually going to leave the best brewery and the best beer of 2017 until the end, because those are like, the best pitcher, right? The best actor, the best actress.
To build up the drama.
Yeah. So we're actually going to start on, I think, something that resonates with other people out there, and that is the best beer tubers of 2017. Now,
oh wow, that's a change up.
We're gonna start with that to get people excited. So first and foremost, I think all of us kept it to nobody on this panel. Not that anyone on this panel is a beer tuber outside of Rod, except for Eric, who is not here. But to not make it awkward, we're not gonna. No one's gonna be reading best beer tuber from this panel, even if they think they truly are. And there is no actually rhyme or reason. You could have 15 different beer tubers, one whatever. There's a lot of beer tubers out there, and people like them. So. Clearly, because this is what we do. We enjoy it. So we're going to start with best beer tuber 2017, and we're going to go with Rod first because, I'm interested in his answer.
I wasn't going to go last because I'm the YouTuber. I thought I'd go last.
No, you go first. You're diving right head first into the fire.
Well, I'll let you call the shots. I did say you're the one in charge of this, so
that's all right. Don't take my show away from me.
It's because it's your channel, Rod.
So, in looking at some of the YouTubers out there, there's a lot of good stuff being done. There's a lot of fan favorites out there. I could throw up the names like, Joe D does a great job with a lot of stuff that he does. DJ does a lot of good stuff. There's good ones out there that catch your attention. And what I kind of look at, I think of the ones that actually drive me to want to actually watch the YouTube a little bit more, to actually catch their videos all the time. And what I look for is how that person actually interacts with the video. Like there's some out there, I'm not going to mention names, that you're kind of watching like, okay, this is all scripted, or this is kind of
No.
I want to watch people that actually enjoy it and actually have a spark in their eye when they're actually talking about it. And, you can really see they're putting themselves into it. So for me, one of my favorites for 2016, or the one that I had listed as my favorite to actually watch, was actually Dean from Dean's Beer Reviews. So he's from over in the UK, and if you've seen his shows, and that when he does stuff that he's really into it. Like I always tell him, like if you ever play poker, I will know how to read your hand, because he does not hold anything back. You can tell when he likes a beer, you can tell when he doesn't like it. He keeps everything out there very nicely, and more or less he's to the point on a lot of the beers. He hits on all the key things that really need to be hit on. And, you get a nice, refreshing show out of watching his show. So for me, I actually chose Dean as my favorite YouTuber of 2017.
Nice. That's a good choice. Dean has a great channel. He does great stuff. His content, like you said, his content is fantastic. He's one of those guys that can get right to the point too. Like his videos are anywhere between like 4 to 7 minutes. So while I do enjoy people who ramble, like Dean always says what he needs to say and he's out, but he always gets his point and thoughts across. So, I mean, he does a great job with that. So it's a great choice. So how about you, Todd? Now, Todd, obviously Todd's not like me. He's not a beer tuber, but he does watch certain beer tubers, clearly Rod J. So Todd, your favorite beer tuber of 2017. And before you get into it, again, we want to make this a little bit more interactive. So if we have viewers out there, if you guys want to list your favorite beer tubers after each category, I'll do a quick check of the comments and read them. If you don't, that's cool. Just follow along. No big deal. So Todd.
Yeah, I don't really watch a ton. I watch obviously Rod's and Eric's. There's a couple others. I don't watch a ton of them as like I used to. Probably my favorite right now is our buddy Craig at Kent's Beer Reviews. I think he does a fantastic job. I'm always interested in the stuff. Most of the stuff that he does, we'll never get here or be able to drink here, but I always like to see what people in other regions are always, drinking. I always enjoys videos. So yeah, I'm gonna say Craig's.
Yeah, that's another appropriate
for the UK right there.
Yeah, and guess what? It's gonna be a trifecta, sons, because I actually have I'm gonna say three-way tie, but I had to mention all three of these guys because I honestly, I've been introduced to all of them this year. That's what I kind of tried to do with my best beer tubers 2017 is someone I was introduced to. So I watch a lot of the stuff because, as you said, like a guy like Joe D, he is somebody that is, classic, timeless. He's one of the OGs. Somebody like DJ from DJ's Brew Tube. I love his energy. He's very enthusiastic. I watch all his stuff. And there's other beer tubers that I forget, but I watch a lot of different beer tubers. If I'm subscribed to you, I watch your stuff. Just how it goes. But for me, aforementioned Craig, 10 beer reviews, baby. Along with Peter, the coolest drinker. And last but not least, a close friend of mine, good dude, Chris on the 10th, Canadian beer tuber. All three of them do a great job. And they all have differences to them for me. Like Chris focuses more on just how his content looks. He's good production value, but he also is very playful and likes to troll a lot, but usually in a harmless way. And he's just gotten into craft beer, so it's nice to reminisce about when you first got into craft beer. You can see it with him. He's been only drinking craft beer, I think, for like a year and a half. So to see him get introduced to beer, it's a lot of fun watching someone for the first time get into it. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, like Peter and Craig are very similar to me in just the aspect of like, I don't care if their videos are 10 to 12, 15 minutes longs. I enjoy it. I just enjoy watching their stuff. Like Todd said, we're not going to get probably more than half of the stuff that they review, but it really doesn't matter. If you interact with your audience, like you say, interacting, Rod, you talked about like interacting with your audience, just like shouting people out or just talking to the camera, not as like, just here's my 3 minutes. I'm just going to do it. I got notes over here. F all that. Crack open a beer, look at the camera, and do what you're going to do. And I think those guys do to almost perfection. I'm not going to say perfection because that's not right. They do it well. So UK, running wild like Hulkamania in the 80s.
It's like
right now.
There, unless Eric has anything.
What you gonna do?
It's going to be a sweep.
Yeah, sweep, baby. And then Eric, his let me find his sideways. No, it's actually straight. Remember, like I said. So his favorite beer tuber is someone I already mentioned, but appropriate, and that's DJ from DJ's Brew Tube. That's who Eric went with, and I think most people out there are familiar with him. He has like, I don't know, like 5,000-6,000 subs at this point. He's the most enthusiastic, energetic beer tuber out there, period. The man screams at you. Sometimes I think I'm getting scolded, but he's just really excited. So,
I said one yelling DJ equals 3 UK, calm, well-mannered brew tubers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's like watching certain hangouts when people are hammered.
Yeah.
It's that level of like,
Although DJ is definitely more of a controlled mayhem, I guess you can say. But yeah, you may feel a little scolded, but it's all controlled and measured. So.
Yep.
But
he's been around for like 6 years or so too. He's been doing it for a while, 6-7 years. So.
Well, big shout out to all those guys, and
we got some
applause there.
Oh my God! Look at all these sound effects. We are 100% professional and classy, nonetheless. For comments,
production.
Yeah, the production value just. With these production values, Rod might win 2018 Beer Tube of the Year. So we have a couple comments here. Some that actually relate to the topic, and then others that just say whatever the hell they want to say. So Craig, who 2 of us, not Rod though. Rod did not say you're one of his favorites, so that's on Rod.
Well,
we all love you, Craig.
There was one, but Craig is in the mix, so yeah.
Craig, you're an honorable mention. Okay, so Craig says, yay.
Shout out to your ice cream. I'm not sure if it's both of you like that.
I don't know. Maybe it's average cube. Jason 4, he says Trummer pills. Is that maybe what he's drinking? Right? Probably what he's drinking. Craig continues with he's drinking a Firestone Walker Easy Jack IPA. Decent session IPA.
I can't get Firestone Walker here.
Yo, I can, and it's fat. That's one of my favorite session IPAs when it's relatively fresh. It's freaking great. So I know another brewery I can hook you guys up with at some point. Okay, so Bum, our buddy Bum is here. He says, "Hi guys, hoping for no politics during the winner's acceptance speeches tonight. Yeah. Give us about a half an hour. Shit's gonna get cray." I should also just punch myself in the face for saying cray. Bart Robinson says, "Craig, he agrees that the Easy Jack goes down nicely." And then Lee, our buddy Lee Russell, formerly of Hoagley Beer Reviews, is now defunct. Now he does the whole "they must be destroyed on site" movie podcast. Cheap plug for him, on a beer show, because why not? He says, Joe, he nominates me for the best non-impact on BeerTube. Yeah, I don't do anything. I don't corrupt. I don't groom. I don't even exist. Jason Voorhees. Yeah, no, I don't know. I have no idea. Jason Voorhees says, I nominate Lee Russell for Best Beer Tuber. So there's a nomination for Lee. And then Lee, because that's kind of a troll, because Lee doesn't review beers anymore. And Lee responds with shush. Jason Voorhees.
Little Canadian banner going back and forth.
Yep. And then Jason Voorhees says he also, Jameson's beer reviews, Jameson Mockel. He hasn't reviewed beer in a couple of years. He does now, I think, like whiskey spirit reviews. But he used to be a good one back in the day. Malt Mustang is here, and he says he's anxiously awaiting the award for Best Malt Liquor of 2017. I'm sure its omission from the listed categories was accidental. You don't know if it's in here.
Talk to the executive producer, Average Joe, on that one, Malt.
But if you had to go to Vegas, I would say don't bet for it, is what I would say. But we'll see. Lee continues with Best Beer Tuber, Craig of Kent Beer Review, so everyone's showering Craig with love.
There you go.
And then he says on the 10th gets second place. Maybe he wins Best Newcomer. That's probably what I was going for. I think, Chris is a noob. Yeah. Not to use that as a term in which I don't want to say derogatory, but it's frowned upon a little bit. But he is a noob when it comes to craft beer. So to see him be able to review certain things. Best
Beer Gamer crossover channel.
No, he's terrible at gaming. Don't absolute horrendous. Have you ever watched any of his streams? Terrible. Dies all the time. And Craig finishes off with, "Oh geez." Take the love, Craig.
You guys.
Craig.
When he said that, I was saying it in my brain like Mr. Mackey from South Park. Oh geez. I don't know.
That does not sound like Mr. Mackey at all. But.
Not Mr. Mackey. The teacher. What the hell? I can't think of him. He's now Trump on the show. I forget. Mr. Garrison. There you go. Mr. Garrison. So that's our first award. And apparently Craig basically swept because that's what he does.
Well, he was on a commercial with Tina Fey back in the day. So a little airplane commercial. He gave up his salad. So let's get him some recognition now.
All right. Perfect segue. Talking about giving up your salad. No, I don't. We're gonna the next category is favorite or best. Again, favorite or best, whatever you want to call it. Seasonal beer of 2017. I tried to stick
going backwards up the list is what you're doing.
I'm going to do that because my thought process is when I started at the top, it was everything that first came to mind, like the big awards. So we'll start backwards to build.
We started at the bottom, and we're still there.
Yeah, well, we'll see how long. So the best seasonal beer of 2017. This can be one that you've had, plenty of times over your life, or something for the first time. So we'll start with Todd. Todd, best seasonal that you drank 2017.
Yeah, for me, it's the Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale. Always
celebration.
Although this year is the first. This year is the first year I had it in a couple of years, but it's still one of my favorites that I enjoy.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
What?
Celebration.
I was gonna say it's great that you picked that beer just because we got the Chappelle. It's a celebration, bitches, from Rick James.
We try to bring humor when we can. That's a great beer. It's
it is.
Also one of the 1001 beer, one of the 1001 beers you must taste before you die, according to the book.
It's one of those beers you appreciate too, because I drank it for the first time in a couple of years, and even with all these crazy New England style and all the new hop varieties and whatnot, that beer is still just really good, just a classic. So, good choice, Todd. Great choice. All right, Rod, you're next.
It's a little close. It's a little close. It was kind of a little bit of a head-to-head tie in there.
Baby, with a little bit of duel, baby.
It's probably the only seasonal beer that I pick up with the 6-pack. Don't even care what the price is. And that's the Stone Mocha IPA. That's one of my favorites. It's, for someone like me who loves IPA and loves stout, it's an IPA foremost, but they've infused it with character to give it that stout type feel. It's a fantastic beer. So it's like when that comes around to April, I just throw it right in the cart. Don't even care. It's like what, $17 or $18 a 6-pack. Don't even care. Just throw it right in. But I had it with the Great Lakes Chill Wave double IPA because that's a favorite I look forward to as well. So that one is a real nice one. Kind of a weird type double IPA because if you guys have had it before, it's like it's not as hoppy as what you expect. It's kind of malted out some, but it's just a nice little smooth drinking one that will sneak up on you with the ABV on it. So it was kind of like those are like my two favorites from 2017.
If you can get for $4.99
in the seasonal category. Well, I've had that happen before too. But even when it wasn't that, it's still a good beer. I mean, at that price, it's almost like, how many do you have? We need more carts, I think.
Yeah. Where's the case? I need cases.
Anybody else?
All right, so I totally goofed that one up then. I was, for some reason, I had seasonal in my mind as, like a Oktoberfest or Christmas ale or...
Oh, no, that's a...
Well, seasonal. They're seasonal.
Well, no, I know that, but I mean, I wasn't thinking of just like any type of seasonal that's only like a one-time release for the year.
It says seasonal beer of 2017, Todd.
I know. I just said I goofed that one up. I was thinking like actual
Todd's one of those old Florida voters with the hanging chads.
He's like, if it's not Oktoberfest or pumpkin ales, I can't know.
On to the next.
But two solid beers.
No, for sure, and I think Chill Wave is a beer that a lot of people don't realize is seasonal.
Yeah,
it totally is. But I kind of was like you, Todd. I stayed true to like what I felt like was seasonals in terms of just straight spring, summer, fall, winter done. But I mean, with what Rod's saying is like they're not even really; those are just like rotating, but they are technically seasonal. So, but for me, it's a beer that I first was introduced to a couple of years ago because we actually get them distributed in our area, and that's Westbrook Brewing Company. And my favorite seasonal every year comes out. I buy a couple. I think it's 4-packs. I forgot what they sell in. I think it's 4-packs because I think the regular version of it. I think they're both 4-packs, but they're Westbrook's Key Lime Pie Goza. It's basically tastes exactly like key lime pie, but without the sweetness and replace the sweetness with the tartness. And it is like the perfect summer beer. Like just absolutely give it all to me. The only problem is it's like $12.99 a 4-pack, so it's expensive. Yeah. So usually buy one or two and dare I say quaff on that beer during the summertime. And it's really good. It's one of those beers that I wish more people got Westbrook because I think everyone loved that. Fantastic beer. So yeah.
That's not too bad for what Stone would be then. Because they're 17 or 18 a 6-pack.
That's true. It's probably in the same, and I give them, they're using key limes. They're probably using some kind of other artificial flavoring to give it, because it tastes like a key lime pie. Like I said, without the sweetness, it has even like the crust to it, like the graham cracker crust. It's kind of crazy. It's weird as shit, but it's fantastic. Trust me.
Every time I hear key lime pie, I'm thinking that's the four killers in that scene. Doesn't go good for those guys after Valerie gets done.
No, yeah, I think I have a better time.
Classic movie.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. We have Eric's choice here, and he goes. I guess he had the same thinking that Todd did because he went with Victory Oktoberfest, which I believe their Oktoberfest is called Fest beer.
I've had that.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good Oktoberfest. I mean,
Yeah, you can put your lady hosing onto it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, it's all right. I mean, Eric, I'm expecting a little bit more out of you, bro. No, it's a good choice. Good choice. I'm glad someone picked an Oktoberfest because I feel like that's appropriate when you're talking about seasonals, right? We don't have many comments. We just have Craig with hashtag no salads given. Craig, I don't understand. Then then Redbeard shows up and he says, "Ahoy, hoy!" Yes, hello. Yes, hello, Redbeard. And then Craig finishes with a Westbrook's Key Lime Pie Goza is about $5 a can over here, 5 pounds.
How was he getting Westbrook?
Where did you settle down, Rod? He gets a lot of great distribution. You get all the deals. It evens out.
Let's forget about us Midwesterners. We'll just send them across the pond. Hell with you.
Yeah. They get a lot of crazy stuff over there that a lot of us don't get. So
speaking of deals, I didn't get a deal today, but I walked in and just happened to see what was in our Kroger liquor store. Oh, there's a bottle of Bourbon County on the counter. All right, I'll grab it. It's busting there by itself. So I was like, I thought you guys were out. And they were like, oh, yeah, I found like 7 or 8 more in the back room. So we put them out. I think the last of them. They wanted to be lonely, so got in the car, took it left.
Feel like the rest of this show, we're going to have Rod on mute. So that's going to happen.
$9.99. It wasn't a deal.
Yeah, you're just randomly picking Bourbon County off the shelf.
I've seen a lot of people doing a lot.
Yeah, they live in Florida.
Country.
Yeah. No, that's great.
That's what made me go in there. I'm like, if other people are finding, I guess I'll stop in here and see if it might be one here. Oh, there is one.
Yeah, so. It's that's Rod. I don't know what I mean. Hashtag that's Rod. I don't know what to say.
Pray for Joe.
Yeah, do not pray for me. So we'll move on to the favorite or best foreign beer of 2017.
Oh.
This was kind of tough for me because my foreign beer is going to be Canadian beer because it's foreign. It's not the U.S. I'll start it off, and I'll just say one of my favorite breweries, period, and definitely my favorite brewery out of Canada is Bellwoods Brewery, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And my favorite beer that I've had this year that I've never had before was their Farmageddon with cherry. So their Farmageddon is a Brett Saison, and they added Niagara Montmorency cherries to it. And it was runner for best fruit beer. Didn't win. We'll get to that later. Didn't win, but it was just one of the best fruit beers I've had all year. The best Saison I had, and one of the best Bellwoods beers I've had in a while that I had for the first time ever. Because I've had other beers from them this year that I've had in the past, like some of their Imperial Stouts aged in barrels and whatnot. And that stuff will always be awesome and definitely would beat this beer in general. But for me, I kept it to brand new beers, and that would be my favorite foreign beer of the year. So shout out to Bellwoods. Awesome stuff. All right, Rod, that's foreign beer.
Well, for me, and if we have anybody out there from Belgium, let me know if I screw this up, which I probably will.
Oh, boy.
Actually, from Distruce Brewers with Monk's Cafe and Brewery. It is I think it's Aestatis, Aestatis, however you want to pronounce that. It's a Saison farmhouse ale that I actually got earlier this year for one of my places that gets in some of the foreign imports. Really pleasant beer, in my opinion. That was one of my favorite ones I had from overseas. I've gotten more than some of the Saisons, and this was a pretty nice one. Maybe it's Aestatis, maybe?
Rod, don't hurt yourself. We're okay. I can't pronounce it either. Todd, probably not. Eric's
not
not here.
with the Belgian beers. I mean, it took me a while.
No. We'll just leave it at that.
Brauerei. That's how you say it. Brauerei. All right.
Yeah. So that's 2 for 2 for Saisons in the foreign beer category. So Todd, gonna make it 3 for 3. Gonna disappoint us.
As usual, I'm going to
go Molson.
Oh, damn it. The bad blue light.
Bad blue is what I'll go with here. No. I went to Denmark for this one, and actually I just had it a couple nights ago. From Toe Ull. Looks like
yeah.
It's like you're throwing up as you're saying it.
Yeah, the Yule M-A-E-L-K yellow label. I know I just butchered the hell out of that name. But it was an Imperial milk stout, and it was fucking delicious.
Nice. What was the ABV on that?
I think it was like 8% or something. I forgot to write that down, but I can look it up real quick.
So by the way, the Saison I had, ABV 11%.
Jeez.
A little bit high for a Saison.
Yeah. Or as Craig would say,
there's nobody going back into the farmhouse after that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could cue up Chad the Albino Rhino, his old school rant of, these are supposed to be for the workers. Anything over 4%, I'm going to choke you out. And it's like, all right, I know. I mean, I get it because that's like a classic style meant to, kind of replenish your fluids and whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot of imperial saisons and farmhouse ales which kind of defeat the purpose. But goddamn, are they tasty a lot of the times?
I was wrong. I was about half that. It was 15%.
Jesus Christmas!
Probably why I don't remember.
Yeah, you left that one right up, Todd. Unbelievable. It's about 8. Oh wait, hang on, 15.
And my note on that was it hid the alcohol very well, which is why I was thinking it was lower than that. But it was nice. It was a fantastic beer.
We are kind of like go big or go home type guys. I mean,
Yes. You guys don't have to round. So a couple good choices. The pronunciation, kind of a miss. Doesn't matter. It's what matters about what's in the vessel, right? So
it's a foreign beer. We shouldn't get it right anyway, right?
Yeah, whatever. We're Americans. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
it's optional. That part. It's just the name of the beer.
I just
yellow label. Give me the yellow label.
Yeah, give me that yellow label. It looks tasty. So Eric, we'll finish up with Eric. His foreign beer is Weihenstephaner's Corbinian. Ooh. So that's a good choice. I haven't had that in years, but I remember thoroughly enjoying that beer. So nice, good selection by Eric. I wish he was here to kind of touch on why he picked what he's picked in terms of his winners. But it is cold outside and it needs to get heat. I get it. So we get it. Eric. Let's go. Come on, get that furnace going. All right. Anyway, the only comment we have is Redbeard. He says that sounds effing delicious. I believe that one I was talking about the Bellwoods Farmageddon with cherry. So it was so delicious. I wish I had like 3 more of them, but I don't. So and that was also a 2015 vintage.
You put with it, Joe?
Oh, baby, probably a little bit more of your pungent cheeses, baby. Not quite the Gorgonzolas or the Limburgers, but maybe like a mild blue cheese, baby. Yeah, a little bit of acidity with the beer. Mitch's perfect. Okay, I don't know what's happening. But, we'll go to the next topic, and the next topic is our best/favorite new brewery of 2017. So this can be either a brewery that opened up for the first time in the last calendar year, so late 2016 is acceptable if you get if they opened up in December of 2016, and also another one that's acceptable is the first time you've tried a beer from said brewery. So either or is acceptable because I know not everybody where we're living has multiple breweries opening up all the time. It's not Cincinnati, but there's a lot of places in the country that have gotten distribution out to certain states and whatnot. So if it's a brewery you tried for the first time or a brewery that opened up, either or is fine. And we'll start with Todd.
Yeah, mine local is in Louisville, Kentucky. Mile Wide Brewing Beer Company makes some fantastic IPAs. They opened up, it was either late December of 16 or January of this year. I can't remember which it was now, but it was I went over there about, I think it was like February or so. There was snow on the ground, so it was early in the year. They're making some fantastic stuff. They really specialize in the IPAs, Imperials, and they actually have barrel aging a couple of beers that's not out yet, so I'm looking forward to those. Yeah, they're doing some great stuff. So my shout goes to Mile Wide.
Mile Wide Brewing, where are they out of?
Mile Wide Beer Company. They're in Louisville, Kentucky. Of course, I'm Indiana, but they're only it's only like 10 miles from here, so from where I'm at. So.
Yeah, sweet, nice. Sounds like a good place. How about you, Ron?
Well, let's see. Favorite best new brewery? I'd have to thank Joe on that. Oh boy. Other Half Brewing kind of blew my mind. I mean, I got to tell you, after the double Citra dry hop, I was like Pookie in New Jack City. I was feeding him for more. I only had the one can, The broccoli did well as well. So it was kind of like, that's one that I would like to find out some more from. So hint, hint. But they put together some pretty nice beers in that one. I don't know if Todd, if you got that in your thing from Joe too, but I know it blew Eric's mind that he and I got that's the next review I'll upload. It's a double Citra one, but yeah, that was a pretty fantastic beer and definitely be interested. Do they do just New England IPAs? Or are they getting other stuff or?
I sent. Remember, I sent you that stout too. I sent you.
I got the stout. The stout's in the
Yeah.
stout. Yeah, I haven't done that
Yeah.
one yet. Yeah.
They focus primarily on New England style IPAs, double IPAs, but they do release like imperial stouts. They've done some barrel aged beers and stuff, but most of their releases are hop forward New England style.
And it's kind of weird.
Yeah, Joe sent me a couple of those, and I actually got them kind of as an honorable mention for best brewery that we'll get to later. But since I've only had 2 of them so far, I didn't put those. I just kind of put them up there as with what I've had. I'm like you, Rod. Send more, please.
Yeah, I mean, usually I wouldn't just like best new off of 2 beers, but I could just tell the craftsmanship in them. They're pretty solid, and it was pretty.
And that was
pretty nice enough to pique more interest.
I was out that one. It was like I didn't have enough, but what I have had, like you said, was fantastic. They're definitely worth mentioning anyway in either one of those categories, I think.
Yeah. So you people will see that when I upload the video probably tomorrow. That yeah, it took me back a little bit. Yeah, it was some good shit. Good shit.
See, I corrupt people in many ways, sometimes in a good way. I'm glad you both. Well, I know Eric. I'm glad all 3 of you guys enjoyed it because. Yeah, they're on my list at some point, maybe multiple times. We'll see. We'll go to Eric's before I read mine. Eric's is his favorite best new local brewery. Actually,
this isn't local though. This is just best new brewery.
Sorry, yeah, he says local. Yeah, did we? I don't think you did best new brewery, Eric. Eric. So I guess we're just gonna have to skip Eric because
leave him out of that category. Although he is a fan of Other Half, I know that.
Yeah, we'll just say that it's Other Half too, because why not?
And you can check out his video at Eric's Beer Reviews because he uploaded his already, and fantastic. Like
the double dry hopped, double Citra Daydream. That's hard to say. Like you get confused. Too many doubles in there.
Oh yeah.
But that was crazy good. That one was crazy good.
Yeah, it's
had me feeding like Pookie, man. Double dry hop, man. I need it.
We have, so for me, I actually have a tie here between a Canadian brewery and a New York State brewery. Barncat Artisan Ales in, I believe it's Cambridge, Ontario. I believe they're about an hour to the west of Toronto. And then there's Industrial Arts Brewing, and they're downstate. They're closer to New York City. Neither of them are brand new this year, but they were brand new to me this year. This is the first year I had anything from them, and Barncat does really good stuff. It's just this little place in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada that is open literally 9 hours a week. They're open I think it's 4 hours on Friday and 5 hours on Saturday. And my buddies have been nice enough to hook me up with a bunch of different stuff they've done, and just fantastic. I actually got a couple beers in the cellar that I got to get to from them that I just picked up a couple weeks ago going up to Canada. So they are fantastic. If you live in Canada and you're watching this, and you live specifically in Ontario, the Greater Toronto area, the Niagara area, check out Barncat. Yes, 9 hours a week isn't a lot, but it's on a Friday and Saturday, right? And then Industrial Arts, they just started distributing to my area maybe less than 6 months ago. And one of the best beers I had this year was their Wrench IPA, New England style IPA, and it's so good. And then I've had 3 or 4 other beers from them, so looking forward to trying more stuff from them. Nice to see new New York State breweries popping up downstate, close to New York City, that I actually get in my area, because it doesn't always work that way. So both Barncat Artisan Ales and Industrial Arts Brewing. So that's for me. Let's see. We have Eric in the comments. He says, "Sorry, guys." It's understandable, Eric. You have bigger priorities.
You need that
right now. Yeah. A little bit cold outside, just a little bit. It's no big deal, -3 here right now. Whatever, get over it. There it's probably -5, -10. Heat is not a luxury. It's a necessity at this point. So bigger fish to fry than beer awards. But I am reading yours. So probably all of
they're upset with him for not watching the Michigan State game.
That's true.
I'll cut his heat.
Yeah, you should probably go Furnace, Sisters Feelings, then our show somewhere down here. But we're reading your stuff, and I'm sure the thousands and thousands of fans.
He wants to comment on this because he didn't have a thing for best new brewery.
yeah, if you want to tell us about the best new brewery at some point, I'll read them down the line. Or best new brewery or favorite new brewery of the year. You didn't read. You also, I think, forgot, based on what I'm reading here. Doesn't look like you have best local beer either on your list as the other one you're missing. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll go to the next topic, the next category, and that is best or favorite local beer of 2017. I'm going to start just because I am drinking the can of the beer that I think is favorite, but not the version. So my favorite is from Woodcock Brothers Brewing Company out of Wilson, New York, and it is their XPA. So their XPA is a rotating hot series that they're up to. This is like the 16th version they released in a couple years. And this is their Double Dry Hop Galaxy, which is probably my second favorite of this year from them. Their first was their 6.1. So for about a year, everybody was talking about 6.0 being their favorite. And they kept on asking the brewery to bring it back. And they were like, no, here's 7, here's 8, here's 9, here's 10. I was like, where's 6.0? Rebrew that. So they finally did, but they bumped it up. They double dry hopped it and had some other stuff. And 6.1 came out, and it was by far the best. Probably the best IPA I've had locally this year. So it's definitely New England style, but it's $12.99 a 4-pack for the series. Or sorry, $11.99 a 4-pack, and it's it doesn't sell out quickly or whatever. But it is a little bit locally hyped, but it's pretty damn good. And like I said, this version is very good. This is a beer that I will get out to you guys, Rod, Todd, and Eric, at some point whenever they release one of their versions, because I'm kind of proud of them being local. They do a good job with this beer. A lot of their other beers are questionable. It's one of those breweries that they make a lot of great food. They have like a wood fire pizza that they make that's awesome. So a lot of their beers are to pair, baby, with some of their more pungent pizzas, baby, but not really to make. Like honestly, and their staple of beers is like their Niagara Lager and their amber beer and their red and so on and so forth. So it's like, your classic styles to eat and to drink it with. You want to pair it with food. That's what you want to do. Enjoy it. So this is one of their first like radical beers, or like outside the box, and they do a pretty good job with it. So that's my favorite local of the year. So Rod, what's your favorite local out of your 6,000 breweries you got?
You just reminded me too. I got some cheese in the fridge. I'm gonna snack.
Oh baby,
like
hopefully it's not brie, baby.
It's like a wine cheese.
It's a
stinky cheese.
Use it with Cabernet.
Oh, baby, it's so stinky. It's like someone farted.
Yeah, our Kroger has a cheese ball, so they get some fancy stuff. Local. I don't know, Todd. You may have had some of their stuff here, but local for me, I see your IPA. I'm going to raise it one and make it a double IPA.
Wow.
It's going to be for Urban Artifact and their Hippodrome double IPA. Comes in at 9.1 ABV, 70 IBU. Urban Artifact mainly focuses on wild and funky type beers, kind of your sour type beers. And they have it on lockdown in Cincinnati pretty much for that style. Everybody knows to go to Urban Artifact. In fact, one of the other Facebook groups I was in, one of the guys was in town, asked about recommendation for Cincinnati. Is he like sour? Go to this place. He went there. All he said is this place is basically fire. So they've got, if you're ever in this area, you like sour beers, you definitely have to hit Urban Artifact. But their Hippodrome was one that was really a nice, fantastic beer they put together. That was probably my favorite one this year.
Which is definitely crazy, just because it is a place known for like basically sours and American wild ales, and here your favorite is their double IPA. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, but they make it work, and they're kind of interesting too in that most of your places when you go to get a sour beer, right, they pretty much just give you the beer. What Urban Artifact, you would get a glass of your beer like this, but they also have different liquids there that allow you to put into the beer, so you can cut it to take some of the tartness down. So you can actually fit it to your palate, which is pretty sweet. And one of them even make it a little bit more hoppier for you too. So it's a place you got to hit. If you like those type of beer, it's just a great place. It's an old church. They turned into a brewery. One of our 60 breweries we have here within like a 20 to 30 mile radius or whatever it may be. And Todd's been up here. Todd knows Cincinnati's got a lot of brewery stuff happening. So they're coming up nicely. They finally went to distribution late last year. We were doing bottles and cans now. I got one in the cellar called the Milkman. I'm looking forward to trying that one out. I know Donna, who was on here once before we did a show, but she's a huge fan now. She's up in Cleveland, but she's raving about how good their beers are now that she's getting them. Just a fantastic brewery to check out.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we're getting just a little bit of distro from them, not much, just a handful of things.
Yeah, they're trying to get more stuff into Indiana and down towards Louisville, so it's growing. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
settle down, Todd. Get it under control. It'll be there. So segue into Todd. Yeah, what's your favorite local beer 2017?
My favorite local. It was kind of a toss-up. I would probably give it a slight edge to one which was also my favorite new brewery from Mile Wide over in Louisville. PA. It was called Tessie. Tessie. Great. They actually can it, so whenever they can it again and it's not below freezing, I'm gonna try to get a can of those out to you guys as well. But it was great. Also up there, I would put as also a local Floyd County Brewing Company. They made a series over the summer of New England style IPAs called it was like a Cloud series. They had like a Cloud 10, Cloud 11, Cloud 12. I think that's where they stopped it at for the summer. And the last one they made, which probably makes sense because they got a little better as each one came out, was the Cloud 12. It was a fantastic New England style IPA. And they're kind of those breweries too, where they do some good stuff. You know, nothing just obscure or anything, but they're New England series.
See, I would have lost a bet. I would have thought for sure you had Against the Grain in there.
Nah, you know, I like Against the Grain, but
yeah,
I guess some of these newer guys a little bit cred, you know.
Yeah,
I like Against the Grain, but they're a little. They say they're kind of full of themselves a little bit.
Pretentious.
Yeah, that brown nose rubbing off on them or something a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of the worst labels ever. Goddamn, is it gross? Anyway, Eric is the last one here, and guess what? He forgot the local beer. So,
Eric, we need your local too if you have one.
So the other one he said he missed out on was the barrel aged one, which we'll get to. So those are the three because I have 10 on here with 13 categories. So that's trifecta of beers that are answers that he missed. So Eric has no favorite local beer. He hates all of them. Okay. So we have a couple more comments. Eric, as I said, Eric said, and bourbon barrel beer was the other one, the category that he forgot. And then Redbeard says, your lispiness sounds way too natural, Joe, LOL. Sorry, lispiness and sounds. Baby, I'm just a great actor, baby. Dusty Rhodes has nothing on my list, baby. But no, I don't have a list that I know of. But sometimes it comes out, baby.
Big Dust.
No, Big Dust looking for some horsemen. How many? 4. It's so good. It's fantastic.
Friday night.
All right, so Friday night. Wait, no, baby, that Thursday night we're reading the Flowing Pint, baby. Baby down, you Jezebel. Yeah.
I know that's you.
I know that.
Off track now.
She hung up on me. Okay. So that's the first 5 categories. We got 8 to go, and the next one is favorite/best local brewery of 2017. We will actually start with Eric since he has been shut out on the last 2 because we forgot him. So he didn't forget this one, and he puts his best favorite local brewery as Bad Brewing. Yeah, that's the name of the brewery, Bad Brewing.
I've brewing before.
They're out of Mason, Michigan / Lansing, Michigan. I don't know if they're like right on the border, if they have multiple locations. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, he did mention he enjoyed going to the brewery multiple times, I believe, and enjoyed some of their beers. So that's his choice for best local brewery, Bad Brewing out of Mason / Lansing, Michigan. So if you're ever in that area, check it out based on Eric's recommendations, baby.
Solid.
Next, solid. Next, we'll go to Todd, best / favorite local brewery of 2017.
Yeah, I'll throw a couple of them in there, and this one I've already mentioned. Probably favorite local right now is Mile Wide because they are doing some fantastic IPAs. Also, we'll throw Against the Grain in there as well for you, Rod. There you go.
No,
how about you?
You don't, baby. You don't get any brownie points.
I get nothing from Against the Grain. It's not.
Yeah, but it's a great brewery too. And the thing I like about Against the Grain is when you go there for their tap, you know, when they do their taps. And it kind of also had a frustrating thing, but it's also good. But it's something different every time you go in. You know, they have their standards that they can or bottle you can get. But they also, you go, they have a series of, you know, a smoked beer, or their IPA or whatever type of beer. Just and it's something different every time you go in there. And their food is fantastic too. So
Yeah.
I gotta give those guys a shout out too. They are doing some good stuff there.
Well, in fact, when it gets to grain, I kind of carry a grudge with them because when I went to Louisville back in September, tried to go to Against the Grain for they were closed because of construction and stuff. So I was kind of like, I didn't get a chance to get any food, any drink. You know, I was down there.
They would have opened up for you if you had a great Dusty Road and put the naked baby. You walk in the Dusty, want some beer?
Ric Flair, open the door. You in there?
Ric Flair, it's Friday night. I know you in there, Ric Flair. Jezebel, baby doll. Okay.
All right, get an event. Get down here on the weekend sometime, and we'll get some of those places.
Yeah. I was down there on the Saturday, but they had some weird stuff happening because they're not that far really from the Muhammad Ali Center. So.
Yeah, I think when he was down, it was like a water main break or something that closed the brewery.
Oh, wow.
So, see, I don't always have luck going my way. Do not have all
Yeah. Little did he tell you that he came home with 3 cases of beers for $7.
Yeah.
And I told them they were actually featured on Triple D, Diners, Driving and Dive, so it looks like a pretty cool place for sure.
They're also on the episode of Brew Dogs, too, when they were on TV.
Oh, so they're getting that exposure.
We actually get Against the Grain here in Western New York for a couple of years now. The only thing that turned me off to them for some of their bigger releases is their
price.
Their price. I remember walking into my local bottle shop and they had their Rico Suave, so I'll play on Rico Suave, right? And I was like, it was in a 22-ounce bottle, bomber. And I was like, oh, it's cool. And it was $16.99 for a double IPA and a bomber. I'm like, yo, what? Like, what is this? What is $17? I'm like,
that's against the wallet at that point.
Yeah, I'm like, I could get 6 packs of awesome double IPAs for like a half of that, like a 4-pack for $7 less. I'm like, I want to try it, but not that much.
But I don't blame you there.
But so ever since they went to canning, I've enjoyed it a little bit more. So,
of course, though, you did get Founders.
What do you mean?
CBS wasn't cheap either.
No. But baby, I know a Founder bring to the table. I'm not sure about it. Again, the grain.
I don't know what the Founder's going to have in store. I know what CBS has.
yeah, that's true, baby. All right, so Rod, you're next. What favorite local brewery?
Favorite local brewery, 2017, and Todd actually knows this place, is actually Mad Tree Brewing here in Cincinnati.
I know him too.
Oh, you know Mad Tree? All right.
Well, I've seen enough from other people in Ohio, some other beer tubers that I know they make pretty good stuff.
Yeah, they're last year they went under. I think it was last year, or early this year they reopened, but $20 million expansion. Place is huge now. But they've got a cool atmosphere. The thing about you go to a brewery is like you want to find a beer that everybody can pretty much enjoy. And their whole suite of beers, they have like 20-something taps of beers. They have a couple that'll be guest taps, but you can always find something there. They're always going for different things. And I went out there, as you know, I think both of you know, when I went out there a few weeks ago, I was going to do an interview with them. But unfortunately, my homework got eaten by the dog, so I had no video to show. But we did a good interview, and they told us some of the stuff about the brewery. You know, like they do stuff with the employees to make it fun. Like every employee from Mad Tree has a chance to make their own beer. They ask them what they want to put in the beer and pretty much guide the whole process. And then they have parties for each employee to bring out as many people as they can to support that beer to see how well it does and everything. So that's kind of cool. They do a lot of stuff in the community. They do a lot of community functions where they're raising beers to get money back for, like, they were doing stuff with STEM, for like children group for the science, technology, and engineering and math. They were doing stuff for like the local kids group for the observatory. They're doing all different types of things. I mean, they're very community involved. It's a great feel. It's a great atmosphere. Their food, they got a restaurant on site that people love their pizza, but they also do other stuff. They're doing like the whole thing all together. It's like that brewery is just like, from where they came from to where they're at now, you can just see how much they're growing out. I mean, it's pushing them to, I think, to the front here in Cincinnati.
Nice. I've always remembered their what is it? Their Dreamsicle.
Yeah, the Dreamsicle. Yeah, we talked about that.
That looks so good, didn't it? Oh,
I'd definitely back you up on that one, Rod. They're one of my favorites out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, they're just solid. Like the Dreamsicle was an April Fool's joke that went wrong. So I don't know if I ever told you guys that story of that. So
you did mention that.
Yeah, and we were talking about that when I was out there, and pretty much they said, well, so many people really wanted it, they went ahead and canned it. You know, they weren't going to can it. They tried to do it as a joke, and you know, they listened to the people that actually do that. They enjoyed that feedback from people, so people have a great time going out there. And the thing is, it's not one of those ones that are just sitting there as easy to get to, but people are willing to drive out to it to show some love and support for it. So they're doing a great job on it.
Yeah, when you listen to a consumer base, you'll be surprised at how well you can possibly do. I mean, listen to people that drink your beer and what they want, and change things, fix things based on their feedback is customer service 101, baby.
Yeah,
a lot of breweries should take note. I know a lot of breweries, they want to do what they want to do because so many of them became home brewers. They kind of want to brew the beer they want to, but that's cool. You still have to listen to consumers because that's what pays the bills. That's what will make you successful. So brew some of the stuff you want, but also brew the stuff that the consumers want.
Sells.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's like there's so many places resistant to like New England style IPAs. Yes, it's a popular style, but so many places are like, I'm not going to do it because I don't like that. It's like so many people do. So
I want to get back to another movie. It's Joe Dirt. It's not about me. It's about the consumer.
Yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean? I got the road approved of a Joe Dirt, baby.
All you have is sparklers?
Yeah, all I got to say is dang. Yeah, so that's pretty fantastic. I think I'm last, I guess, on this one. I don't think I read Eric's already. So my favorite is, I didn't send you guys a can or bottle from this brewery, but I will at some point because obviously they're my favorite local brewery, and that is Big Ditch Brewing Company. They're out of Buffalo, New York, and they're one of those breweries kind of like Mad Tree, or think of any brewery in your hometown that they make everything well, but you're not usually blown away too often by them, or they just bowl you over like great beer after great beer. It's just everything's very consistent, very well made, and you don't really have a bad experience drinking any of their beers. That's what Big Ditch is. And they're starting to go kind of outside the box and brewing like, New England style IPAs, barrel aged beers, some sours, things that are more popular. So and they have probably the best regular year round IPA in Buffalo called Hay Burner. So good. And it's like, I think a 6-pack's like $9.99. So, I mean, and it's funny, you go in any local grocery store, you'll find it 2 weeks old or fresher, like all the time. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah. They somehow get their stock out to every place they go to. And like they rotate it, they turn it over very quickly. So people are loving that beer specifically, but they just do a great job. And their facility is downtown Buffalo is fantastic as well. One of the few really downtown Buffalo breweries. So it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't have a beer for like their favorite local beer or anything like that, but they just do everything well. So I feel like they are the best local brewery.
Nice.
So.
Do we lose Joe? How are we going to lose the host of the award show?
Baby, I'm here. Daddy doesn't go anywhere. Baby doll, I know that was you Jezebel. All right.
Did you do a Mark Rubio how to get a glass of water real quick or something?
Yeah, no. I need multiple glasses of water, maybe a 12% beer. So we'll go to comments. We actually have a decent amount. We have Redbeard said LOL when I read his comment, baby, doth the road. And then he says, you need to do a whole live stream in that character. Probably terrible advice for everyone who's in that hangout except for me, because it's a lot of fun doing it. But like an hour or 2 hours of me doing it, I'm sure someone want to power bomb me through a window. That's okay.
If you do like a gaming channel, you could do like Dusty Rhodes plays Call of Duty, because I've seen people do like Morgan Freeman plays Call of Duty, or they just do the whole voice through the whole thing.
We need to get the real good guy from the radio show. He needs to go on. That would be fantastic. We have Nick from our Canadian buddy Maxwell Star over at Maxwell Star's Beer Reviews. Good day, sir. He says, I vote Best Beer Tube Channel 2018 as Average Joe. One day his channel will come. Sooner than you realize, Daddy.
It's lurking.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, baby. No one wishes that upon the worst enemy. And then Redbeard says, damn it, why can't anyone love me? And Nick follows suit with gotta put out more. Classing up the joint, I see. Yeah.
Nick, don't encourage Redbeard.
Do not. Bum says best beer tuber for quote unauthorized post production. goes to the Wiseman's Committee. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the Wiseman's Committee. They basically take 3 or 4 guys, including Greg's beer reviews, and make these just insane videos. They're fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
The Wiseman's Committee, you got to check them out. They are great. I can't even explain how awesome they are. They're fantastic. Bum will vouch for me because I'm vouching for him right now because he is 100%.
What are we, Donnie Brasco? Everybody's vouching for people around here.
Oh, baby, we're all vouching for all of us, baby. Redbeard continues with random thought. Next time you head north, Joe, bring a few of these amazing sounding beers and send them my way, please. Probably not, Redbeard. I'd love to, but probably not. You know why? Because I don't know. Just probably not. What's that?
Meet you at the border.
Yeah, meet me at the baby. Drive all the way to the Niagara region, and then I'll hand them to you. He also says Rod the gaming thing would be hilarious.
It probably would be. I think it would be hilarious because I watched the one with Morgan Freeman. It was pretty damn funny because he's just like quoting stuff out of like Shark Tank Redemption when the guy's crawling and everything.
Yeah. Redbeard says, "I love you too, buddy." I love you, Redbeard. I just wish sending beer between our borders. It's like sending beer to fucking Europe. It's insane the price that you got to pay. So it's dumb. And then last but not least, we have Hillbilly Wine here saying, "Hello, fellas. Just tuned in. How's the weather in the Natty, Rod?"
Cold. Not as cold as what it is up in Michigan, but I think right now we're probably like around the teens or something. I have to look at my phone. See the weather check.
And good day, Hillbilly. We're just making our way through.
Degrees.
What's the temperature?
16.
Oh, that's super cold.
Heat wave.
It's
Super cold. You're colder than me in Buffalo, aren't you?
no, we're only 3 degrees here. No big deal. We're still above 0. We can handle it.
Yeah, when I went to Kroger earlier, some guy came walking into the store with some shorts on. It's like, you better just came from the gym or something.
All I know is like
walk through the store.
the old school phrase of bone chilling cold. Like literally, when it's this cold, you walk outside within 30 seconds, your body hurts to the bone.
Well, I heard tonight for anybody, if you're watching from the big New York City, Big Apple, 11 degrees, New Year's Eve, they're predicting. It'll be the second coldest ever outside of
forget that.
Go to.
You'll forget that. But there's gonna be like 1 million people there, so
it won't be only one ball dropping. That's for sure.
they'll have to act like the emperor penguins in the Antarctic, where they're all like huddled together as the ball drops.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. All right, so the next category we have, and this is one that I kind of came up with myself because I'm a big boy and can occasionally think for myself, even though I am Polish. I just went for favorite / best simple beer. So my feeling was, we have so many categories where it's barrel aged this, fruit beer that, hoppy, crazy stuff here. Something now, so my definition of simple beer is something that is sub 6% and doesn't use any adjuncts. It's not barrel aged, has no fruit, nothing in it. Now Rod made a good point in our Facebook chat saying, well, some of the adjunct lagers obviously are called adjunct lagers because they have adjuncts in them. For me, I was more like, when talking about simple beer, I'm just talking about something that has water, barley malt, yeast, and hops. That's all I'm looking for. The 4 core ingredients, kind of like the German purity law, right?
Right.
But I mean, I'll give a break to something that has corn or rice in it, even though it's an adjunct, or something that maybe like lactose. I'm talking like, don't be like, this 5.5% chocolate and cocoa nib stout. Like, no, that's not what we're looking for. Looking for something that has those 4 core ingredients and not crazy. So that was where I was coming from with it. We'll see how much that's represented and what people pick. Because I didn't clarify outside of just saying non-adjunct and non-barrel aged, but it's a category just. We drink so many great beers and so many. I mean, if you look at everyone on the panel, even if Eric was here, we all have awesome beer locally available, whether it's from local breweries or nationally distributed or imported, and so many of them are just crazy nowadays with coffee and chocolate and vanilla and peppers and cinnamon and vanilla and barrel aged and fruited and all this stuff. It's like, think about a sub 6% beer that you just really like that doesn't have anything crazy in it. That's what I was going for. So we'll start with Rod, see where he goes with this one.
Well, I had to go overseas for a simple beer because if you're going to go with a simple beer with just the basics, you have to go to the country that's the OG in play, right? So I had to go over to a little bit of Germany action, and I'm going with the Bison Fata 1516, which is a nice Keller beer.
Nice.
Comes in with an ABV of 5.6%. Nice malt balance with the hops, just a smooth type beer. And if you actually enjoy something and you enjoy the simplicities about beer, what it can be, you just have to like this beer. This beer is an awesome beer to get. So I know Eric touched on the Bison Fata earlier. I'm going to touch on another one here with the 1516.
Boom, mic drop, done. We're just going to leave. No, we'll go to Todd next. That's a good choice though. When I was thinking about simple beer, German styles are. That's what it's purity law, baby. That's where it's at. So.
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
I again probably cheated on this one as well. I went with it was a Cantillon 2013 classic Goose.
Yeah, no, you cheated.
What was it? Which one was it?
Cantillon.
It's only 5%, so
Yeah, but it's like aged. It's like blended of 3 lambics that were like barrel aged and in foeders and all this crap and blended. Like, come on,
man.
Some brewers like, you think this is simple?
yeah. No, that's a very complex.
Right.
That's a very complex beer, Todd.
I was only going for the ABV aspect of it.
Yeah, no, that's twice now.
It's hard to choose.
God damn it,
something under 6% unless you're going with a session.
Yeah, well, I cheated in a different way. So if you cheated, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat in that the beer I had doesn't have any of that stuff in it, but from a super hype brewery, and maybe these people won't call it simple, but my favorite simple beer was from Treehouse Brewing, and it was their Tornado Pale Ale, which was 5.4%. All it does is it has the core ingredients, but it's not an easy beer to get. It's not like you just roll up anywhere in the country and get it. I mean, you got to go to the brewery. But it was a beer that it was a pale ale that was just really, really damn good. Like if that was available locally, that would be a beer that'd be my fridge every single day because it drank like a pale ale, but it had enough intensity to kind of remind you of how well made it is. And it was such a good beer. I don't know, but it's Treehouse. So I'm not really cheating, but it's super hyped. So
I'm not mentioning Treehouse. That's not going to happen.
No, so I had to mention Treehouse. I mean, I had to mention Treehouse. So, it's
slide that in there.
It's 5.4%, and it's not aged in foeders and blended for 3 years like Cantaloons.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Eric's here. Eric actually went with a simple beer, but it has lactose in it. So Eric, he went with.
I understood the question.
I'll let him slide with the lactose. I mean, it's technically an adjunct, but maybe not really.
Who do you go with?
Well, technically, any of these ingredients, like coffee and chocolate, they're not really adjuncts, but it was the easiest way to say for people to understand. Like the technical term isn't adjuncts; it'd be just like additives or other ingredients or whatever.
Yeah, but you're playing semantics. What's your definition of is?
Yeah. So I'll let everybody slide. Fuck this stupid.
I followed the rule. You should have said by rights and bot rules or something.
Yeah. It should have. Just German purity law. Done.
Rules are made to be broken.
He went with Sam Adams. Sam Adams Cream Stout.
Screw your rules, Joe. Screw your rules.
Yeah, my rules are done. Samuel Adams Cream Stout is what Eric went with, which, I mean, it's pretty simple.
I'm surprised you didn't go Miller Lite or something.
Well, it has that doesn't.
You were letting me slide on that, so
no, I was going lime side because like if I say that, then like all of the adjunct lagers are out. So you want Sam Adams cream. Anyway, whatever. We all picked a beer under 6%. Like high fives. That's tough to do in this day and age.
In our fridges, yeah.
It's not
Exactly.
like I'm drinking. I'm like, oh guys, I got a session beer. It's 6.5%. You guys are like, oh, I'm like still 6.5%. It's just it's crazy how high nowadays with how high of a percentage most of these beers are. They don't drink like it. That's the scary thing nowadays.
Yeah. Shout out to Method Man and Red Man. What?
Baby, yeah. All right, so the next. Continue, Rod. We could bust out the entire How many bars you got?
Yeah, I just throw it out there. I was a DJ. I only have samples.
Yeah, only samples. Only samples. No actual bars. So the next one is so the last 6 are kind of like the big boys. So we'll start first with the favorite / best barrel aged beer of 2017, which it'll be interesting to see. We'll start with Todd. Actually, you know what? We'll start with Eric. Oh, Eric doesn't have one. Sorry, Eric doesn't have one. I'm just gonna say for him, it's gonna be the Big Bad Baptist. Because he was going nuts about that beer, right? The one that he had the other day. He said it was like just as good as I think he said Bourbon County, or if not better.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that's one of his favorite. If he's wrong, he'll correct me.
That's on him.
That's on him. I mean, you don't have a list, you don't have an answer for it. I'll just make up answers. But I feel like that'll probably be the running for him. So Big Bad Baptist from Epic Brewing Company. That's Eric's choice. All right, Todd, what do you got going on? Oh, actually, let me read the comments real quick. Hang on. Okay, there's actual comments. I forgot. That's not me. Red Beer continues. He completely agrees. It's so much dumb about the whole trading beer and sending it through the borders. And he says it's about minus 30 Celsius here right now, which is like minus 22 Fahrenheit. So
that is balls freezing.
Yeah. That's also Canada in a nutshell.
Yeah.
No, just that he lives far up north. I think he's like,
call it that's winter.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 hours away from where I am to the north. So yeah, it's cold up there. Redbeard also says that Wiseman's committee channel is amazing. So you got another guy vouching.
Have to check it out.
Hillbilly Wine says nice, simple Czech Pilsner. Yeah, Czech Pilsners are nice and simple. German Pilsner, Czech Pilsner is awesome. He also says he's on vacation. This mother effer. Hillbilly Wine, we're pissed right now. He says, I'm on vacation in South Florida. Sunny and low 80s every day. Don't want to go home.
Oh, I bet he's enjoying it. Yeah, because he's actually south of me. He's actually closer to Todd down there. I think he's down outside the Louisville area.
Hillbilly Wine, we love you. We appreciate all the comments. We might have to.
He's a top 50 wine YouTuber. He got an badge as well. He's on the list. How am I still on the list? I have no idea, but I'm still on there.
Yep. Yeah. Get your wine on. Bum says he's never mentioned the Wiseman's Committee on Share Beer because Greg was a regular on the show for several years and he knows Joe D likes him. But he goes, if anyone deserves the Wiseman's treatment, it's Greg. And if you watch some of his videos, you'll know right away what he's talking about. It's pretty fantastic.
The Wiseman's Committee.
The Wiseman's Committee. You got to check them out. And then Nick Maxwell Star says, this metric conversion brought to you by Average Joe, the Canadian American. Well, here's the thing, Nick. I don't know how good I am at conversion rates, but if you put minus 30 Celsius into Google, what does that convert to? Is it minus 22? Because if so, I'm surprised at myself right now. That was a guess. I'm going to say it's like minus 22, though. I feel like that's minus 22. So you do a little research here, Nick, and then hit us back with your answer.
Help a brother out.
Help me out, because this metric thing is it's a real struggle. All right, sorry, Todd. I had to read the comments. Don't want to let the people down, even though I do every single time I'm on the show. Best barrel aged beer 2017. What do you got? Please don't tell me Cantillon again. Please, just don't.
Damn it! Well, about past then. No, I chose one from Prairie Artisan Ales. It's the Vanilla Noir from 2015, actually. It was when I had it sold and then cracked open over the summer. And it was actually probably late spring, maybe. Fantastic. Great vanilla, some, the whiskey barrel. I think it's some Asian whiskey barrels. I don't think it says which whiskey barrel it's in. But it has nice, vanilla flavoring to it. It's just a smooth. And they do fantastic stuff.
Prairie.
That was probably. It was kind of a toss-up. I had another one that was really good.
What was the other one?
In Rod's neck of the woods, it was barrel aged Eat.
Oh, eight. Okay. Nice.
And I had that on at a back in February, Tailspin Beer Fest in Louisville. And it's the first time I'd actually seen that one, and that one was fantastic. I actually had that one at the top, but I'd have to nudge it out just barely by the Vanilla Noir.
Nice. Prairie's one of those breweries that they're so underrated, they're overrated, if that makes any sense. Like, they make awesome stuff, and so many of their bottles get distributed. Like, we get them here. A lot of people get them all over the Northeast. Their price point is a little bit steep. Don't get me wrong. Like, the barrel aged stuff's anywhere from like $10 to $13 for a 12-ounce bottle. But goddamn, is it always good? Like, really, really good to amazing. And it's like, if you try a Prairie beer, especially one of their bombs or like a variation of that, or their noirs, or there's a lot of different barrel aged beers they do, I think you won't really care about paying that price once in a while because it's that good. In fact, I had deconstructed Prairie Bomb Vanilla. It tasted like vanilla bean ice cream. And it was 13%, and I was scared to death because it was so amazing. But it tasted like it was 5%, and it was liquid ice cream. It was so good.
And that's the thing with most of their stuff is the ABV is well hidden. You don't, some of them are a little more powerful than others, but for the most part, they're usually subtle. I mean, like you said, it's scary.
It's scary. They just do great stuff. But it gets kind of tough to pay the prices. I get it, but sometimes it's worth it. So how about you, Rod? Best barrel aged beer. I'm curious about this one, Rod. Rod, what we got?
I haven't had CBS, so I didn't get CBS this year. I may at some point, who knows? Mm-hmm. And I didn't have Bourbon County, so just throw those two out there just because I've got two in the cellar. I just haven't drank it yet, so I can't count it in for 2017. But
save it for currency.
It's kind of like, because I have so many breweries here, I don't feel like I have to hunt them down. So my favorite bourbon one this year is actually from another one of our locals, Wood & Cask Brewing, and their Corruption, which is their Reformation, which is their Scottish stout, barreled in Buffalo Trace barrels. The version I had was barreled in there for like 5 to 6 months. Very smooth, very relaxing. That's like 11-something%. Did not feel like it anyway. Again, one of those dangerous type beers, but a great offering that they put out. So that was my favorite barrel beer this year so far.
Fantastic. That's
like I said, always checking in
right here.
You don't have to get the big names and go chasing everybody. A lot of your local breweries make it good.
And like I said, I still think Bourbon County is awesome. I love KBS. I mean, but the hype nowadays, it's like there's local breweries, at least one or two in everybody's neck of the woods that makes an awesome barrel aged beer that's very comparable. So if you miss out on those, don't even worry. Just drink some non-hyped local stuff, and I think you'll be just as happy. Totally agree. Again, we already mentioned Eric didn't have an answer for this one, so I gave it to the whole epic barrel aged Baptist. I don't know. I don't know if he just had regular Big Bad Baptist or the triple barrel. But I think it was just the regular one, like one certain batch, and he liked it. But
I think he just had the regular.
Use out there.
Yeah. So my favorite barrel age was actually a bucket list beer for me, one that I wanted to try for at least 5 years, and I went to a share with two buddies. It was three of us, and we go down to the cellar, and he's like, "Oh, is there anything you want to drink?" And there it was, and I'm like, "Holy crap, we're gonna bust this open." It was from Pelican Brewing Company. They're out of the Northwest. Looking on tap here, I want to say they're out of Oregon. Yeah, Pacific City, Oregon. They're Mother of All Storms. It's an English style barley wine aged for over a year in bourbon barrels, and I've wanted to try, like I said, back to like 2012-ish. And he's like, "Yeah, anything you want to drink?" And I'm like, "Yo, that?" I'm like, "That right there?" He's like, "Yeah, let's crack it open." Cracked it open, shared it with two buddies, 3 people total. So I got a decent, good pour of it, like 8 ounces, and it was everything I wanted to be. That's one thing about me, is that when it comes to barrel aged big beers, I love imperial stouts and imperial porters and things, but give me a great English barley wine, and I'm set. Especially barrel aged, they're so good. My favorite of all time, Cava from Firestone Walker, probably my favorite barrel aged beer ever. Period. So when I was having this, it was just like, yeah, this is an automatic, like 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, 5 out of 5, whatever. And yeah, it's a beer I'll never forget because I've always wanted to try it. And then it actually lived up to the hype that I had set for it in my own brain. So it was probably one of the coolest experiences this year. When you knock off a bucket list beer or something you've always wanted to try, it's always, I think, a cool experience. Even if it doesn't live up to your hype, it's like, I still got to try it. So that was my favorite beer. So, nice. And it was a 2016 vintage, so it doesn't mean anything. But yeah. So this was a All right, so we'll go to comments and then I'll mention
All right.
mention this little. So Nick, see how awesome I am by if I'm not corrupting and grooming people. He says minus 30 Celsius is a minus 22 Fahrenheit, and he's not even kidding.
That's
crazy. Put it down for the metric conversion king right here. I can't do anything else right in my life, but I can convert. Okay, I know about the metric system. So a little bit of a hot topic from certain individuals here struggling to find a beer within this category, and this is the best fruit beer of 2017. I guess I didn't specify, and that's on me.
Fruity today.
Hashtag that's on me. I mentioned fruit beer, and what a lot of these guys did, namely Eric and Todd, they looked for like a fruit beer style. So on Untapped, when they were looking for the beer, and I said, no, it's any kind of beer that has any kind of fruit. So it could be an imperial stout with fruit. It can be a sour with fruit. It can be whatever, just any style that has fruit added. So I think Todd went back and corrected and found something, or maybe he already just kept this safe. I think Eric did too, because he actually has the fruit beer listed on here.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he was right on this one, but no big deal. So we'll start. We'll start with Rod. Favorite fruit beer of 2000.
Well, this one was actually the easy one for me.
Oh boy,
because this one just like stands out. If you ever had it, you know you've had it, and that is Avery Lily Caputo. So that's the passion fruit beer. That is freaking
fantastic.
Goodness
Amazing.
in a glass. Yeah, I mean that's like a double damn beer. You have it, you're like damn. So it's a great beer from Avery Brewing, and of course Avery's not getting the flag because they taking some money. But hey, Avery's still making good beers, and anybody who doesn't want Lily Caputo, feel free to send them to me because I will drink the shit out of them. Definitely one of the better fruitier beers that I've had out there with that passion fruit. It's like you're almost like vacationing with Hawaii in a glass. It's just so sweet from that passion fruit. I mean, it's tasty. I don't know if you guys have had it or not, but it's freaking fire.
Yo, I had it. And that is, that's. If I haven't had it a bunch of times before, and I really want to talk about the other beers I had, that would definitely be on the list every year because it's. Yeah, it's like a summer crusher, baby. That's what that is.
Solid, yeah. The first time I think I had it when I had it initially this year, it was like around January or February at one of our places that we have that they served food. They used to have beer there, but it blew me away for the first time I had it there.
Yeah, it's one of those beers that's approachable to so many people too. Yeah. So you don't even really have to like fruit beers to enjoy that beer. Honestly, it's like it's just great. It's a great beer.
Yeah. And it's a wit beer, which I love wit beers.
Yep.
But you could almost think it at first. You're thinking, is this like some New England? I mean, it's got the hazelnut, it's got the taste, but no, it's a wit beer.
You're confused if it's a wit beer, it's a New England style IPA, or it's actual fruit juice. It's like I don't know. It's one of the three, or two of the three, or all of them. All the above.
And the thing I like about it as a wit beer is if you don't have to fruit a good wit beer, it's going to have it in the flavor already.
Yeah. But they
no fruit needed.
All right, Todd. How about you? Did you revise your answers, or is this still the original?
I didn't. Well, I don't gravitate towards the fruit beers a whole lot. If I did, and I hadn't had any this year, it would definitely probably be one from New Glarus because their fruit beers. I don't know if you guys ever get any of the New Glarus, or they're amazing.
Yeah, they're fucking
so I had to go with the to keep it within this year. I had to go with the Founders Fruitwood.
Oh,
that was pretty good. A
lot of good reviews about that one. Yeah,
I think that was one of the Founders ones that people thought they were going to be really disappointed by, but they ended up like, all right, it's pretty good actually. Kind of like the Legend
it was actually I enjoyed that one. There was some nice cherry tones to it. It was pretty good. I was like you said, kind of thoroughly surprised by. Wasn't expecting a lot out of it, and I got a lot more out of it than I was expecting. So that one makes the list for me. Like I said, I don't gravitate towards the fruit beers a whole lot. So from if we were keeping it in 2017. So,
I appreciate your honesty. That's very very appreciated, good sir. So I'll say so. We'll go Eric's and then mine. But Eric got it in there. I can't disagree with his answer. He's under everything's okay. It's appropriate answer, and he goes for Second time on the list. I never thought I'd see Samuel Adams more than once, but he goes with their summer ale, which is with grains of paradise, and they use lemon peel. So it passes. I can honestly say, and this is again, this is where the whole beer is subjective. Everyone has different tastes. I absolutely just hate the summer ale. I'm not a fan. I've had it a couple times because I had the first time and I thought it was disgusting, and then I had a second time thinking maybe I had a bad bottle, or actually I had on draft the first time. I was like, oh, what? Maybe their lines were dirty or whatever. And no, I just don't like it. That's on me. But the grains of paradise.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, I'm gonna hate the shit out of that beer. But grains of paradise, just for me, I've had it in a couple beers and it just doesn't. I
like the summer ale. That's one of the ones I look forward to when they come out at the point. So
and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this, right?
Oh, the palate's a funny thing.
Oh, it is, isn't it? And it really is. But I mean, that's what I always say is when you see people are like, oh yeah, he likes it, I'll like it. Not all the time.
Yeah,
sometimes. So yeah, summer ale. He snuck it in there, and it works. Yeah, it has lemon peel in it. So, my favorite fruit beer isn't a single fruit beer. It's an entire series from Grimm Artisanal Ales out of Brooklyn, New York.
Nice.
Their pop series. So this is what they call a dessert Berliner Weiss series, and each release they either dry hop it with a certain hop, or they put a bunch of fruit in it.
But you could pick just one of the ones you like the most?
No. I will say the best one I liked was their cherry and raspberry one. Cherry and raspberry one. But I just want to give props to the series itself, because the series itself is bonkers. It's like an orange creamsicle plus whatever fruits in there plus a tartness. So it's like I said, they call it a dessert Berliner Weiss series. So it has vanilla in every single one of them and lactose to give it a sweetness. But then it has a tartness to balance it out, and then it has whatever fruit or dry hop. I don't know. I'm sending one to some of you guys at some point. You guys are gonna get some of them because you will understand what I mean by it. It's unlike any series I've ever had, and every single time they release one, I bought every single release aside from one in the past year, and it's $10 for a 4% beer. It's in a 22-ounce bottle, but it's still 4% Berliner Weiss. It's expensive, but it's fucking good.
Little Gwen Stefani shit is bananas.
The shit is bananas. Yeah. That's proper. I like that. No comments. So, it's negative 24 Fahrenheit, not even kidding. We'll stay on there a little longer just to show the awesomeness that is me. I appreciate Nick looking that up, though. I didn't think he actually would. But he did. And he proved me right. And that's all I can ask for.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good man. He did us justice. Did me justice anyway. So the next beer is favorite/best dark beer. Again, one of those styles where when I just mean dark beer, I mean anything that's just not like a light beer. That's all I mean. So it can be anything from a porter stout, imperial porter stout, barley wine, brown ale, whatever, the whole gauntlet of anything that when you pour it, it has a darker tone to it. So we'll start with Eric for once. I think he actually has this. Yeah, so he has a tie between Founders KBS and New Holland Dragon's Milk, the Mexican spice version. So a couple good beers there. I didn't have the Mexican spice, but I love Dragon's Milk and a lot of their variants, so I can imagine the Mexican spice is probably pretty tasty. I
haven't had the spice cake, though.
No, I feel like the Mexican spice is in the same vein of like a Prairie Bomb or a Mexican cake from Westbrook or Chocoveza, kind of in that vein. So, sounds pretty damn good.
Dragon's Milk, they're in good shape.
Yeah, Dragon's Milk is a great base to do whatever you want to. Right. So next, I guess I'll mention mine. This is one that, again, if you guys get this brewery in your area, and again, they are distributed by, I want to say Shelton Brothers, which distributes to a lot of different states. But I see a lot of the UK guys drinking variants of this beer, and I always get super jealous because the base beer is amazing. But my favorite dark beer is Omnipolo's Noah Pecan or Pecan.
The happy face beer.
Yeah,
the happy face with the
the pecan mud cake stout.
Still have to get that one.
Yeah, so it's like picture a pecan pie and a chocolate cake having dirty hate sex. And what is the result is this beer, because it was mind-blowing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was 12%, tasted like it was 5. It was the best dessert beer I've probably ever had in my life. And I'm just drinking it, and I'm like, I can't, like, why aren't people, like, just telling everyone how great this is? And then I see a lot of reviews. I'm like, oh, they totally are. I just didn't see any reviews from them. So I've seen the UK guys, all of them. I know Craig, Jake, and Rob from Habzine, they all did the hazelnut cupcake version of this, which is apparently mind-blowing. They have a double barrel version of it. They have a barrel-aged version. They do all kinds of crazy versions because Omnipolo just does a crazy stuff in general. But yeah, if you see the smiley face, I think they're in cans now because they used to be in bottles. They're in cans now. I think it's like $5 a can, but it's a 12% Imperial Stout that tastes like amazing, just great, whatever. It's just fantastic. Buy it. Try it. Trust me. But you have to have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that up front. If you're not a fan of dessert beers, don't go get it because it is sweet. But yeah, that's my vote. Fantastic. How about you, Todd?
Honestly, didn't think this would happen tonight, but it actually just did. I chose the same one for this category.
Big high fives. Great minds don't think alike, but they do in this case.
It actually hit our territory at the 1st of December, and it is fantastic. I mean, everything you said, I mean, it's spot on.
Yeah.
I believe it's the first time that we've gotten it in our area. If it's not, then I just haven't been looking for it. But yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal.
You got it on
analogy.
you get on the Indiana side or Kentucky side?
On Indiana side.
All right, road trip this weekend to Indiana.
Yeah, my analogy might have been a little bit uncalled for, but I think it's quite appropriate. Like, I feel like.
Hey, Rod, keep me posted. If you can't find it, I've got an extra can. I'll send it to you.
All right. Yeah, we got our place up here is about 20 miles from me, and they might have it over there. They got a pretty good liquor store.
Yeah, dude,
I'm sure you'll get it for like $1.99 a can. So
you'll probably walk in and get like a case for like $5. No big deal. Whatever. But it is that
stuff. I'll take them all.
Yeah, no, you take them all, and you ask us if you want it. Yeah. No, I'm hoping some of the variants show up because, like, as good as that base beer is, I'd be curious. Like, I will honestly say this, and again, I know this isn't the case for us three specifically, and a lot of people out there, like, it's tough to buy the same beer again over and over when you go to the store. It has to be a great beer, or something you really want. That beer I will buy every time I see it, at least a can, every time, because it's that good. I just want it in my fridge to drink all the time, but it's a 12% beer, so it's like session. All right, guys, session beer, no big deal. Session the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Everybody takes a nap.
Slam them all day long, no problem.
Yeah. So how about you, Rod, to finish up the category? What is your favorite dark beer this year?
I haven't had the newer one yet from the series, which is getting a lot of rave reviews out there. But one that you will like, Joe, is the Ballast Point Coconut Victory at Sea, which is very solid, I thought. Really enjoyed that one. That was a great one. Their base Victory at Sea, I really like that as well. But the coconut gave it a little bit more of an oomph to it. So,
baby coconut, so good.
It was definitely nice. And I'm not a huge coconut fan, but Death by Coconut and this one here has kind of got me looking that way. Maybe I'll try some more coconut beers.
It's like when they're used properly in beers, because I feel so many breweries, they'll be like, here's our coconut beer, and it's just a letdown. It's I feel, for me, like, again, I like coconut, so the intensity of like a Death by Coconut is something I want. Be over the top if you can put coconut in. Like, make sure it's the predominant note, and so many places don't. So, but Death by Coconut, God, that's such a good beer too. Oh man, too many great beers. Maybe not enough.
Not enough time.
It's hard times drinking so many coconut beer. I will say this though, I didn't put it on my barrel aged list just because, I did. It was like, I was like in my top 5 in the running, but I had this at a share a couple weeks ago with the Canadian guys. A guy brought the rum and rye barrel aged Victory at Sea that they sold at the brewery. It was the last beer we drank of the night, and I'm like, I wish we would have drank this is the first one because my palate's shut and I don't know what's happening. But I'm like, I couldn't tell you what it tasted like. I can't sit there and be like, oh, there's so much rye and rum and blah. No, it was amazing. I just don't know what was happening. I was just like, this.
You raised the rock eyebrow on it.
Yeah, I was like, what he said, he's like, so you guys want to drink this? I'm like, why didn't you tell us this was like a beer we had the option to drink 3 hours ago? But it was the best Ballast Point beer I've ever had. And now that they have the barrel aged one showing up here on the East Coast, it showed up here like this past week. I might have to go buy a bottle of that just to see how their barrel aged, the one that's nationally distributed, how that holds up. But it was the best of the share and one of the best barrel aged beers I had all year. And people give crap to Ballast Point because they're bought out and blah blah blah, but they still make good beers. Yeah, a little expensive at times, but they make good beers.
Yeah, they can definitely be expensive at times, but when it's actually something that hits for them, it's not really that bad. I mean,
no,
it is what it is.
I agree. All right, so we're rounding out the categories by getting into the top 3. But before we do that, we'll go to the comments. Bum says, Rod, he just sent you 3 classic Greg videos from the Wiseman Committee's through Google Plus.
Nice. I just subscribed to him too. Nice.
Nick says he's hearing an echo. Now, Nick, when you're getting that echo, what's showing up on the screen so we can kind of pinpoint it? I'm only hearing it a little bit. I don't know about you guys here and there. Todd, slightly.
I haven't heard the echo.
If you haven't heard the echo, then Rod, maybe it's a little bit.
I heard myself sometimes, but I've not heard anybody else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You usually hear yourself talking, right? A little bit. So if Rod isn't hearing it, then it could be Rod. Oh boy.
It kind of comes and goes, so it's not like I'm not hearing it on a constant basis.
And that's the thing, Rod. Like when it happens like every little while. I don't know why it's not happening constantly. Doesn't make any sense. You think it would just?
It's Google. Blame it on Google.
Goddamn Google. Redbeard says he had the Russian Gun Imperial Stout by Grand River Brewing in Canada, and it was incredible. I have a 2013 vintage of that in my cellar. I don't want to drink it. Probably great. It's probably great, but I don't know. Craig from Beer Review says we'll crack an anagram blueberry cheesecake later, which is the Omnipolo collab with Douglas Brewery.
What do we say? No one likes a braggart.
Yeah, no one likes a braggart. Craig. Nobody. But I'd be curious to see what you think about that. Yeah. That sounds amazing. Redbeard says fancy, and he says it's fine now, but there's an occasional echo thingy for sure. I will try to pinpoint and see what the dealio is. The dilliag. All right, so rounding out the last of the categories, top 3 last categories left. This one is going to be interesting, but the favorite/best hop forward beer of 2017. So this can be anything, obviously a pale ale, session IPA, double IPA, anything that's hop forward. We'll start with Rod.
Well, for me, because again, it's kind of like in my backyard, it's hard not to pick this one. Actually, it's more in Todd's backyard than my backyard, but it's going to be Zombie Dust. I mean, it's a great hop forward beer. I really enjoy it every time. That's like one of the ones I see it, I automatically will pick it up. You can't go wrong with it, really, if you like pale ales. I think it's one of the best pale ales done out there. So, yeah, Zombie Dust, a classic.
Now who's the braggart?
Occasionally I'll see it and it'll say, hey, you can buy it as much as you want. Most of the time it's limited too, but hey.
All right. How about you, Todd? Best hop forward beer, baby.
Yeah, I kind of had that one thrown around in the top there as well. I mean, you can't go wrong with Zombie Dust, especially for you guys that can't get it that often. It's a great beer. But for me, I actually leaned to one that was from California, Knee Deep Brewing Company, Hopologist Dippa. It came in at like 9%, 102 IBUs, and it was just straight, nothing but bitterness to it. I mean, it was great. I think I rated it like a 4.25 maybe on Untapped or whatnot. But it kind of stood out in my mind for that one. For this award to go to that beer. So that's what I went with. And I'm not real familiar with Knee Deep. I think that might be the only beer I've actually ever had.
No, I mean, like, is it a good dry beer? Good dry texture and stuff? Or
Yeah, definitely one. If you can see it, I would definitely pick it up and give it a try. If you like a hop forward, hoppy, double IPA style.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong. It's 9% ABV as well. So, hey, no screwing around there.
Nice. Looking at Eric's list. So maybe he's just going. Let's see. Okay. I got it, bro. All right, so his favorite is Mars Double IPA from Bell's.
Yeah.
And Husky IPA from Alaskan Brewing Company. Those are his top two. He had a tie. When he put Husky IPA, I was thinking Bell's Brewery. I'm like, I've never heard of a Husky IPA from Bell's. So those are his top two. Mars Double IPA, Bell's, and Husky IPA from Alaskan Brewing Company. I've had the Mars before. It's pretty damn good. Husky IPA, I've never had.
I hear Husky, I think Sears Roebuck and Chunky Kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Shuffle for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mars is a good one. That's a solid beer.
Yeah.
I never picked it up. I saw it out there, but I'd never gotten around to getting it.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good. So here's going to start the trifecta for me for a certain brewery that everyone has pimped and pumped up already, and that's Other Half. So actually, I have a tie for a favorite. I couldn't tell you which one would win because I had them at two separate times, and they're the biggest triple IPAs I've ever had in my life, and they tasted like they were 5%, and I wanted more, and they're hard to get. So Other Half Brewing Company's double dry hopped, all green everything. One of their few. The Other Half doesn't have like a year-round standard beers. They just rotate all their beers, and this is one that has been around for a long time. But it's like a 10.5 or 11% triple IPA, and it drank like it was like 5.5, and it was just, yeah, it was Other Half. It was really good. And then one from Rod's neck of the woods in Columbus, or outside of Columbus, in Marengo, Ohio, and that is Hoof Hearted. AKA who did fart?
That's what they call who farted.
Yeah, yep. Who farted? Their Dragon Saddle Triple IPA. A guy I was at a random bottle shop that that they actually kind of like some of the places you're at, Rod, where they'll pour stuff while you're shopping. Yeah. This place is kind of like that. And some guy just came in and just started sharing beers with people. And he came in, he brought Dragon Saddle in, and I got like 6 ounces of it. I'm drinking. I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. I'm like, what's the ABV on? He's like 11.5. I'm like, you're like wrong beer, right? Now he's like, here, have some more. I'm like, dude, there's no way this is 11.5. It was, they're either lying on the can or that's like some, I don't know, sorcery stuff going on because it was crazy. I would put that and the double dry hopped, all green, everything probably neck and neck just because they're both basically triple IPAs that are just bonkers. So for those of you that haven't had Dragon Saddle, you're in Ohio, get on it. Get on it.
For those of you that haven't actually been to places where you can actually drink while you shop, it does make a nice, pleasurable experience for sure.
It does. Baby, settle get down a little bit. You might make worse decisions.
Binge shopping at that point, I gotta imagine.
You buy a little bit more than you probably expected for sure.
Yeah. You come out, you're like,
so good. 2 days later, you're like, why in the hell did I buy that?
I went in for a 6-pack and a pint, and you come out with like 3 cases. Now in Rod's case, they're all like $7, but everyone else is paying full price.
You're still spending under $10, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So the Other Half, as you guys touched on earlier, they make good stuff. But so does Who Farted, because who doesn't want to fart? Comments. We have Nick says, "Woo, I'm not crazy." Redbeard said, "I never said that." I don't know what I said that you didn't say. I don't clarified Redbeard. I don't. And then Nick says, "Well, he's not hearing any things anyway." And he says, "Oh, okay." Craig from Cat Beer Review says, "Knee Deep is in quite a few states now." Yeah. We get them here too. I'm pretty sure Rod gets them in his neck of the woods. Maybe not. Knee Deep, Rod?
I don't think so.
I thought they were in Ohio.
I mean, it could be Northern Ohio. It depends on all distribution.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, they're in a lot of states though, for sure. I mean, they're a West Coast brewery, but they're in a lot of Eastern states. Redbeard goes, there are so many amazing double IPAs out there. I think there's just so many great beers out there in general, but there seem to be a lot of great IPAs nowadays. I think just certain hop strains just work for people. I mean, you talk about the Citra and the Mosaic and the Galaxy, some of the more popular hops. People love those hops, so a lot of places are growing them. A lot of places are using them. Therefore, at the end of the day, you're going to get pretty good IPAs if you're using those hops. Then Nick goes, LOL, hoof-hearted. Yes, hilarious. And then he said it's similar to Hugh space Janus. Hugh Janus. We're picking up what you're putting down, but we're putting it back down and keeping it there. Redbeard says,
Down and leave it there.
yeah, we're just going to leave it there. We're just going to walk out the door real quick. No big deal. Redbeard says, New Ontario has a triple IPA out now that tastes like someone dropped a shot of whiskey into an IPA. LOL. And then he says the Echo stuff. The Echo stuff in what? What didn't you say? I don't remember if I said something that you didn't say. You said that there was an Echo thing happening, but I didn't. Did I say something incorrect? I mean, maybe. I have a tendency to corrupt everybody. And then Craig says hashtag snow.
Hashtag snow.
Hashtag snow.
He's getting snow.
He might be getting snow. He was talking
The old school throwback to snow.
Oh my!
He was a Canadian rapper.
Yeah, and then Jim Carrey did the awesome parody.
Mm-hmm.
On,
Well, that and Vanilla Ice on
and Vanilla Ice.
color. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, we come to.
Hey, speaking of real quick, speaking off topic a little bit, real quick. YouTube, Who Farted? It's a horse race, and there's a horse named Who Farted. And when they're making the call down the stretch, it's freaking hilarious.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd dropping knowledge on everyone. Go check that out because that sounds amazing, actually.
But I've heard great things about that brewery, and I'd love to have some stuff from them.
Yeah.
I don't get them here.
They're trickling down a little bit at a time, I guess. Kind of like fart just moves its way slowly across the room. And you're like, who farted?
Also called crop dusting.
Come
on, Joe, segue.
There's no segue.
We're like the best director or best
no, the train has derailed.
pitcher category.
He has nothing for that one.
No, the train has derailed. We're gonna get to the last two categories. Finish this up. Favorite best brew of 2017. We'll start with Todd.
Best brewery.
Yep.
Well, I had two listed, and I only went with the other only because I only had two, and those were the ones you sent me was the other half. So I kind of put them as an honorable mention, only because I have such little experience with them, but both beers that I've had. And I got I think two more in the refrigerator in the cellar. I haven't got to yet, but I will. So I would definitely put them up there. But my go-to that probably gets the nod because I've had more from them is. For this year.
Is what? Who's who?
Prairie.
Oh,
Prairie Artisanal.
Okay. That's a good pick.
I mean, the Noir series is phenomenal. Bomb. Just all their stuff is great.
Yeah.
Now, it is also a little pricey, like you mentioned, which kind of brings me to another point that I didn't have written down, but for the price point, you almost can't go wrong with Lagunitas for the price.
We'll call them Lagunitas. No big deal.
Yeah, somebody had Echo there.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Yeah. But for me,
Prairie.
I go with Prairie on that one.
Sweet. All right, Rod, you.
Well, because I always like to find Jesus.
Jesus.
I like a little fudge. I went with Evil Twin Brewing because Evil Twin Brewing, I've been drinking a lot more of their beers this year, and I have found them to be one of the best breweries or favorite breweries out there that I really like. And have not found anything I didn't like from them, but everything just comes across so solid. I do have the Jesus in the cellar. I have the Cocoa Jesus in the cellar. I have some of the other stuff from them, and it's just a solid brewery that.
That's a good solid choice. I actually had them listed kind of high up on my radar as well.
Yeah, I haven't found out yet where you
can't go wrong. I mean, you can't go wrong with them.
Yeah, they're just across the board. They're doing some great things, and I always look forward to checking out their beers and trying to find what else they're putting out there. So
nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. They make good stuff. We have Eric going with a classic, and that is Great Lakes Brewing.
He loves Great Lakes.
Yep, Great Lakes. They are one of the classic old school breweries, plain and simple.
Yeah,
they do good stuff. Can't really complain.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he picked. I'm glad someone picked like an old.
They're on the wall, Great Lakes.
Well, baby, that the Dortmunder Gold Daddy. Yeah, they do good stuff. Emmett Fitzgerald's still one of my jams. Got the Christmas ale in the fridge too. Got to take that down. Didn't take that down this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's other half for me. I mean, we already talked about it. I've had 20 beers in the last like 2 months from other half, and I think the lowest I gave one of their beers is like a 3.75.
Yeah.
On tap. And I've given like 3 or 4 beers 4.75 or higher. I mean, they just do awesome stuff. I wish, it's funny you guys talked about me sending those beers to you guys like, I wish I could get more. I wish I could get more. The only reason I got those beers is because they did a mobile canning release in Buffalo at a local brewery. Most of their stuff shows up here, shows up in kegs, and it's usually at one craft beer bar. It's usually gone in a day or 2, so it's like you got to go there and drink it on tap. Otherwise, you're not getting it. Cans really never come here. So I hope I get it because I'd like to try.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck to me.
pray for Joe. Pray for Joe.
Well,
for Joe.
Oh, okay. Red Beer clarified. He said the damned Nick not being crazy comment is when he said that he never said that. That he never said Nick was crazy. So it had nothing to do with me. So Nick says hashtag pray for Joe Zacco. So let's not throw accusations around Nick. All right, let's just settle down. And then Craig said, the hashtag snow was for knee deep in the snow. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Craig, I get it. A little slow, but we all get it finally.
That hidden British humor,
Yeah, the British humor. It's a bit dry. A bit too dry.
Surly, don't call me Surly, though.
Don't call me Shirley. All right. So last but not least do we have a drum roll? Because no one cares. No drum roll.
I don't have a drum roll sound effect right now. I give you applause. You want applause for the last?
No, we're good. We're good. No applause. But for the final category of the night and of the 2017 Flowing Pints Awards, we have our favorite best beer of 2017. I'll start us off just because I just want to get other half out of the way one last time.
Do you have other half a T-shirt on too?
I mean, I could be sponsored by other half right now. Like I'm on board. Like I have a channel, but I don't. But I do. But I don't. But I might. But never. They did a collaboration with J. Wakefield Brewing out of, I believe, they're Miami, Florida. They did a beer called Florida Plates, and it was an Imperial Spelt cream IPA that they conditioned on a bunch of pineapple and peaches. And they put a little bit of lactose oats in it. Yo, let me just tell you something right now. When I was drinking it, I was dumbfounded that it was beer, but also number 2, that it was amazing. You know those peach gummy rings that you get as a kid that have the sugar on them? That was that in liquid form at like how the ABV is like 8%. And I'm just drinking. I'm like, dude, I want all this. Like right now, if I could just have all of it, I'd die happy.
More.
Yeah, it was. As soon as I was drinking it, I knew it was the best beer I had all year. And this was earlier this month when I picked up the cans that I sent to you guys. They had it on tap, and I got a draft of it. And I'm just like, oh, I wish I had cans of this here because I would buy them all. Best beer I had by far in 2017. And honestly, even though I probably had a good half dozen 5 out of 5s this year, there's a difference. This was like a 6 out of 5, even though that math does not work. And it just
turned it up to level 11.
Yeah, baby, we do some final tap, baby. It was one of those things where you kind of know when you're drinking a beer how awesome it is, and you're like, wow, this is kind of like. Even to this day, when I drink those, I just get so excited because it's like this is kind of why I love craft beer. You just never know what's going to surprise you or come out of left field, or when you're going to get one of those amazing beers. Kind of like we were talking about earlier, Todd, like the Omnipola Noah Mud Cake Stout. Like drinking that and going, holy shit, this is just mind blowing, right? That was it, and yeah, that kind of solidified me for other half, specifically that beer, because it was like they all make awesome stuff, but that was just like this is like another level for me personally, and I really wish everyone could try that beer once because it's it's so great. Anyway, that's my favorite of the year. So we'll move on to Rod. What is your favorite beer of the year?
Well, yeah, I was looking at it as a favorite, so not necessarily my best beer, but it's favorite. Because it's one of those beers that you just love to sit back and enjoy, and always presents, and it's always what you're looking for. Not always available, mentioned it earlier in the show, and it still is the Stone Mocha IPA because it's just like, especially when it comes out, because it's weird. You would think something like that might come out more in the fall, but it comes out like around April, I think, or May. So I'm on the back deck. I got a cigar. I've got the Stone Mocha IPA. The birds are chirping. Things are going well. You're kicked back. You got some tunes playing, and that baby delivers every time of the week.
Every time.
Every time.
That's
60% of the time it works.
Yeah, that's what makes it a favorite beer.
And that's why for all of these awards, if you guys see what Rod put down in the description, I put best favorite because I didn't want to just keep it to one thing. Best and favorite are different. And kind of like Rod said, it's not necessarily his favorite beer.
No, it is my favorite.
Sorry. It's sorry, that's what I meant. That's not necessarily your best beer that you've had, but it is your favorite. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was looking, going for. And it's good to see someone used it differently.
I got a college degree. I might as well use it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best way to use it. Well, how'd you use it? So what do you do with your college degree? Use it in the flung pints.
I'm finally doing the marketing I always wanted to
do. How about you, Todd? Favorite beer or best beer of 2017?
I had two that really stuck out in my mind. In the end, I went with the 2014 Bell's Black Note, which I had on this show with you, I believe.
Yeah, that was up there.
A couple months back. I also picked, put in here also from Rod's neighborhood, from Rheingeist, the Barrel Aged Ink, which is a Russian at 11.8, which I had, like I said, back in February at a beer festival here. Locally. So those two were, standouts for me for the year. That's one you could say was his favorite and one you could put in the best category, I guess.
Yeah,
on both sides of the spectrum there.
Rod just did the Derek Jeter fist pump when you said Ryan guys, so that was yeah. We'll leave. You know what? We'll finish it with Eric. He's got hard times, baby, trying to fix that furnace. So we'll shout him out and
start a new hashtag. Pray for Eric.
Yeah, hashtag pray for Eric's furnace. His favorite beer is Founders KBS this year. That is his favorite beer. So, I mean, I think it's a great beer. I know Rod personally enjoys it, but thinks it's overrated, and I know a lot of people have that opinion. I love the beer. Personally, I think CBS is better, but teach their own. And I can definitely see Founders KBS being someone's favorite beer. It just so happens to be Eric. Eric also did not like Bell's Black Note Stout, Todd. So them's be fighting words for him and I and you. Yeah, I was surprised that he didn't care for it. I think it was this year's version, so I can't speak on that one. But every vintage I've had of Bell's Black Note's always been superb. So be curious what he didn't really like about it when he puts up the review. I'll have to peep it, as they say.
Yeah, even choosing some of those, I kind of mixed emotions on some of the age stuff because it was, couple years old, not necessarily from this year, but they were beers that I drank this year, so that's why I kind of chose, went that route. But to each his own.
Yep. No, hey, that's what we talked about palates earlier. It's the great thing about this is as much as we can discuss stuff and talk about how much we enjoy a beer or don't care for it, you always have varying opinions, and what kind of makes shows like this, I think, enjoyable because you get different perspectives from different people in different areas. And when you talk about the same beer, you could be a beer like the Noah Stout that both you and I liked, and then something where you have the Black Note as your favorite beer and Eric didn't care for it. So it's kind of cool to see. But yeah, that's it for the Flowing Pints. Hopefully people enjoyed it out there. I think it was a pretty good show. I highly enjoy. I think the best part of this was the whole encompassing of doing a little bit of research, looking back at what you drank over the year and being like, man, I drank that. And like, yeah, I remember that. And then presenting it on the show. I think it's fun to kind of just look back at what you drank over the last 12 months. I know I enjoyed doing the research. Yeah. Not that I sat there for like 5 hours doing it, but going through Untapped and going, oh yeah, I remember, yeah, well, maybe this beer, and then paring down your list and being like, oh, what do I make this? Does this win? It was a lot of fun. It really was. I enjoyed it, and I appreciate all the comments from everybody. Quick shout out to, oh my God, do I got to shout people out now? Quick shout out to Craig from Kent Beer Reviews, obviously can't forget him. Jason Voorhees from earlier. Bum, of course. Definitely, I think Rod's going to be shouting you out more after the Wiseman's committee. He watches a few videos of that. He'll be high-fiving you. Bart Robinson, Lee, obviously Lee, friend of ours. Malt Mustang. Sorry, Malt Mustang. There was no malt liquor category, but next year I'll look into it. I really will. We'll see what we got going on. Redbeard, of course. Eric. He couldn't join us tonight. Eric wanted to be here. His furnace has given him some issues. So, maybe some hard times. Baby down that Jezebel. She probably effing it all up. Nick from Maxwell Stars Beer Reviews. And Hillbilly Wine, of course. We had a lot of people comment tonight. That's a lot of people. So thanks to everybody for showing up and commenting and why we... Yeah, we've had a consistent 6 to 10 viewers just all night, just going back and forth. The last couple comments we have is Redbeard says Stack Brewing cracked open a cask of their Blood Orange Expansion Sour IPA at a beer festival. Not just the best beer of the year for me, but possibly the best beer ever. And then asked if we're doing an offline chat after this. No idea. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We usually play it by ear, but we'll see if we do or not. Yeah, so that's all I got. And I mean, it's not my channel, even though tonight I totally took it over.
Good night, Joe. This is Joe's pilot right here. So
yeah, it's terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, everything. No, we appreciate all the feedback, and if people have any other comments they want to leave with some of their favorite stuff, feel free. After this will post onto the YouTube channel, you can still put comments in under if there's other beers or stuff you're looking to try, or 2018, or some of the beers we talked about. If you have any questions on them, feel free to leave a comment on the video as well. I'd asked you guys earlier, I don't know if you guys have thought about it enough, but any bold predictions you have for 2018 that you want to throw out there about what you're thinking the beer industry may do?
Who knows? Who knows what you're going to get?
Okay, Forrest, go.
Yeah. The beer industry is like a
triple Imperial IPA.
I was going to read some different. I read some different pieces. I shared a piece out there on Facebook. Some of the brewers were predicting some of the stuff about 2018, and I just thought, if there's anything you might think might happen, it'll be interesting to see what happens next year. I think next year is going to be more of a people getting tired of considering what's craft and what's not craft. So I think it'll be more of a shift to this. Just call it independent or non-independent. So we got the labels popping on bottles now. And I think more brewers will sign on to that. So I think the whole thing will become kind of, craft might not become a great word next year. It might be kind of like one of those words. It's like, just stop saying it's overplayed. It's like,
get out.
Right? Like I said,
get out.
It's like you say dank in every pale ale video. It's like, okay, we know every pale ale is dank. You don't have to keep saying it's dank type situation. So
they're dank.
Yeah. So
I kind of agree with that. I see it trending that way as well, because you're kind of already starting to see it a little bit now with the what's the true terminology of craft beer with a lot of these breweries, getting bought out.
Yeah.
Still making what we would say is craft beer, but by the terminology and definition of it, it's not truly craft beer anymore. So I can see that being, a big part in just sure.
And I can see some of the consumers that aren't pretty much like beer geeks like we are on stuff, get more knowledge on what some of the beers are, so that might be a part of it too. And because if you say something's not a craft beer, people say, what's a craft? I mean, if you ask a Budweiser rep, they're going to say their beer's well crafted, so yeah, it's craft beer, kind of thing. It's not based on what the definition is by the Brewers Association. So I think that line hopefully gets straightened out a little bit more, so it's not as gray or blurry. And again, Brewers Association kind of painted themselves in the corner a little bit because of their own situation of kind of moving things on what they consider craft. And then when they moved it for Sam Adams on the barrels, that kind of said, okay, well, you guys just moved it, so why didn't you stick to where you were, just kick Sam Adams out? And I think that's kind of caused them a little bit of a headache there. So it'll be interesting going into 2018, but we're over 6,000 breweries now. When we started last year doing a lot of this stuff, we were at 5,300. So considering back, I think it was like 1984, I think the number of breweries in the country were like 43 or something. I mean, there's been huge expansion. So who knows what this is going to have for the next year, because we're going to have more breweries opening. I think another trend may be more craft buying craft, microbreweries buying microbreweries to keep them out of the big breweries' hands. And I think we're seeing that with some of them now where they're actually merging together. Even a group like, say, Victory and Southern Tier are actually under the same group now instead of having someone come in like an AB and Bev and buy them out. So that could be kind of a trend, too. You might see more craft brewers getting together because you think of the craft beer community, a lot of them are very helpful towards other craft beers. So that could be a play, too.
I'll offer you a less bold prediction, and that is I've seen it happen over the last 3 or 4 months, but you'll see a lot of breweries using more lupulin powder for their IPAs. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And Cairo hops too, where they freeze them and all this stuff. Then you're gonna see more breweries play with lupulin powder. You see it a lot locally, like a couple brewers here have used it, and like the aforementioned Other Half and Treehouse, like the bigger New England style producers are using a lot of lupulin powder. So I think you'll see a lot of that on the. I wouldn't be surprised if Stone comes out with a national release that has lupulin powder in it, an IPA. So keep your eye out on that too. It definitely has. I don't think it's anything crazy. It's kind of like, remember when Sierra Nevada did the whole hop oil thing? It kind of has that kind of feel to it, where it's more about, I guess, in a name or how it's processed and stuff, and less about the difference in how it tastes, because the lupulin powder, it's not that discernible from like your regular hops, your pellets or your whole cone or whatever. But you'll see, I think that'll be a big marketing ploy for the next 6 months to a year from a lot of breweries. You'll see that like advertised on the beer. So
yeah,
keep an eye out on that.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting 2018, but the big thing is we will have more beer to drink, and that's not a bad thing at all. That's a good thing.
Not a bad thing at all.
We have a couple last comments I'll read
okay.
if you want me to. Okay, we have Bum says, great show, guys. Thanks, Bum, for checking it out again, man.
Thank you, Bum.
Redbeard says, if you do, throw a link in the 101 chat. Will do. Nick says, I thought this was Average Show's Beer Ventures. You mean it's not?
This is pilot.
Only on Thursday nights, Nick.
Kind of, sort of, not really.
Nick, only on Thursday nights.
Send all likes and shares to Average Joe.
Yeah, please somehow convert this into my channel. He also continues with good show, by the way. Hashtag corrupted by Joe. Usually. Redbeard said the title should totally have, and I quote, hosted by Average Joe in there. Way more views. Probably way more dislikes too, so that's unfortunate. And then Nick, I feel I kind of want to read this last, so I'll read the other ones. He said, lupulin powder, Bellwood's Runes, Bellwood's Brewery, which I mentioned earlier, they went for my best fruit beer. They did with the cherries. They've been using a lot of lupulin powder in a lot of their IPAs, and Nick happened to have one of them. So yeah, the Runes. The last one I had was their Citra and Mosaic lupulin powder one. Very tasty. And then Craig says, happens here in the UK. I think he's talking about the craft buying craft and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure that's what he means. And then last but not least, Nick has this is pretty good. He says, Average Joe, the first of his name, corrupter of BeerTube, the metric converter, the beer venturer, the unchanneled, the Canadian American, the troller of BeerTube. I have a lot of names apparently. Nick, thank you.
Some theme music behind that.
He kind of hit them all on the head there, didn't he?
I mean, that was almost like a Ric Flair type rundown.
Yeah, it was. Average Joe, the first of his name. Yeah, I just got to be screaming it like DJ.
Thursday nights.
I should have been like Average Joe, the fifth of his name, corrupter of BeerTube, the metric converter. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to share Dusty Rose clip because last week I got slapped with a copyright thing. So.
Nah, get copyright.
But it was a classic. It was like, hey, it was worth it.
It was worth it.
Yeah, so.
I wanted to laugh for like 5 minutes straight, so I had to mute myself because I couldn't handle.
But next week we'll be back probably looking at another brewery, which we'll decide probably at some point here, and look at some other beers and keep you up to date on some beer news. Definitely appreciate all the support this year from everybody that's been watching the channel and put in the comments. Love the feedback. Make sure you keep adding stuff there. Make sure you check out also some of the Facebook page with some different beer news articles. Everything's out there under Rod J Beer Ventures or the website at rodjbeerventures.com, and you can see all the social media stuff. But going to keep sharing a lot of good stuff heading into 2018. Keep drinking those good craft beers, and as always, There's Joe's got something.
I was going to say, 2018, my channel's coming. If you're subbed to my channel, unsub, save yourself the pain. Just
yeah, make sure you check out Average Joe. We'll have him in 2018. And maybe we'll get Todd at some point here as well. So
I'll have Todd on my channel, so it'll be like the Todd and Joe channel.
I'll just take over Joe's place and just popping up on everybody else's videos and calling them my own.
That's what I do.
Just remember, there's always times.
And I'm going to start with you, Joe. I'll start with you.
There's always times. Remember, go ahead and get your beer on. Cheers, and we're out.